Because you don't need 20 friends. You just need 3 motherfuckers, and you could take over a country. Okay, that's what we're confused as Americans. We think we need all these motherfuckers. You give me 3 bad motherfuckers, and you're finished. You understand me? You're fucking finished. Because we got each other.
The following program deals with a controversial subject. The theories expressed are not the only possible interpretation. The viewer is invited to make a judgment based on all available information.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Wednesday night here on Beyond Wednesdays. And we've got some fun stuff to talk about tonight. We continue with our OA special shows with these two guys, Dinesh and Mike. Clutch is going to drop a little heat tonight too. And then, but the one person that's missing, there's 2 people that are missing. One tonight, Big Leg is missing. I'm really bummed about that. I'm actually...
Very sad.
Yeah, I'm very sad about that. The other person that's missing, Vinny, what the fuck, bro? Come on. Where are you at, brother? I waited this whole time to do this show so you could be here, and you're not here, bro. No, I'm just kidding.
Vinny called me 1 hour ago. He called me, and he's like, you got to be on the show. Mike's there. I'm going to be there. You got to cancel your night, cancel your meetings.
Clear it.
Where the fuck is he? God damn it.
But we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about tonight. We're going to talk about the current Heritage auction. I want to get your guys' thoughts on the big cover that's for sale, the New Mutants 98, and we're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff. We were talking backstage about something very interesting though, and new comic book day. You guys know every Wednesday we try to get into some of the new comic books, and there was a big book that dropped this week that has a little bit of controversy in it, and that being this Wolverine book from Wolverine #1, the John Tyler Christopher homage variant, which is very interesting because there's two groups of people that are mad about this, and it's very interesting how it played out. So the original of this, let me go ahead and find this. C2E2 variant. The original of this.
So great, Bryan, to be showing your search terms.
Oh yeah, right. I'm glad I don't. I'm glad I don't have to worry about that. Here it is. Right. So this is the original. No wait, is this the original or is this the one today?
I think that's this week's.
That's this week's. Hold on. There's Vinny, right? There he is. The original, Vinny. Here we go. Here's the original.
Okay.
So the original they did something really cool with it. It has a numbered, what says what issue number it is on the bottom right. Yeah. And it's because it was a C2E2 book, right? And you can see what it looks like. I don't know why that's not letting me. There we go. You can see how similar it is. If you're looking at it, Mike, is it the exact same? Does it look the exact same?
No, it's a little different. So like, as I'm looking at, I picked this up randomly today, but if you look at like the left arm, that glove has the yellow highlights on the C2E2 book. He's got the black line on his chest. Is this similar, though?
Yeah,
it's pretty simple.
It is, dude.
Yeah, I mean, virtually identical. There's just a couple giveaways.
Yeah.
Did you get this cover, Mike?
Yeah, I was randomly just at my local comic shop here, and I saw this. I was like, dude, that looks so familiar. I just love the cover, so I grabbed it today.
Oh yeah, that's definitely different, but
yeah,
the same.
Cool book. Yeah.
So
you can see the black there.
Here's how this played out.
Hey, am I in the right show?
What up, Hood? How you doing, brother?
What's going on? I don't have any art or anything, man. What's going on here, man?
You're here, brother, and that's the important thing. So the way this started is, when they originally put it out on when they dropped the first image of it, right? Solicitations. People were mad about it because they went, what are you doing? You're basically just reprinting, because I don't think they saw that there was a difference, or maybe there wasn't a difference when they first did it. I can't remember. But they were like, why are you reprinting this book? This book the original means something, and now you're just devaluing this book, right? So a few months go by, and you see in FOC, it's got a trade dress on it now. So everybody's like, okay, good. At least they put a trade dress on it. At least it looks better. You know, I mean, it looks different. People are going to know. And when it gets ready to drop, they show it's two versions. There's a trade dress and a virgin version of the book. So now both parties are pissed again.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you guys think?
I didn't see a trade dress. I didn't see a trade dress. I only saw the virgin.
Yeah, dude.
What's the signature, Brian, in the corner next to his belt? Is it
JTC?
It is on
Yeah,
both.
yeah, on both. Yeah.
So it says after JTC.
No, JTC.
No, it just says JTC on both.
Yeah, it says JTC on
So
both.
Who did this one then? He did it again.
I don't know. I don't know if they came to him and said, yeah, do it again and change it up because they were just going to put it out. I don't know. That's a great question.
It looks like overlays to me, honestly, Dinesh.
Yeah.
If you look at like the shoulder pads and stuff, on this one he's got shoulder pads. The other one,
Yeah.
you know, a little different. I think they just did a straight patch on this thing.
Just like when they said, "Give us one with the new costume."
Maybe they
This
did.
is like a secret variant. Like, you know how they like mix in the secret variants?
Yeah.
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 Where you can barely tell the difference.
Yeah. And I did bring it up to him on a show, and I asked him, I had asked him what he thought of, like, you know, companies doing homages of classic, you know, covers, especially if you're the artist that did that classic cover. You know, for example, Adam Hughes does there's a classic Adam Hughes cover for Catwoman, and they go, you know, Catwoman 51, they go, we're going to reprint that in a foil edition. It would probably be nice if they let Adam Hughes do that book, right? If they were going to, you know, let him sell it, let it be his store. So it's kind of always been a question that I would ask these artists that actually do the classic books, what, you know, do they think of this? And he was very, you know, smart about it. And but you could tell he wasn't happy. So who knows? That was today's new comic book day. There was a couple other interesting books for today. There was, did you guys see the 1 in 25 Romita Jr.? Did you see that, Mike? Did you see that hood?
Yeah. That it wasn't selling where I was, but I did see a couple of them.
I thought those were marshmallows when I first saw it.
He's ready for some s'mores, man.
All right. That is
like somebody call the cops, bro, because they stole John Romita, dude. Like, this was a guy that was a phenomenal drawer. And I'm not saying he was like Adam Hughes or anything like that, but John Romita Jr. does not draw like this.
Doesn't
like
it, yeah.
if you have YouTube, go on YouTube where he drew Wolverine on Monday Night Football, Brian Dawkins, and he drew him in like 60 seconds, and it was phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what the hell is going on here, if he's got dementia or something like that, but this is not John Romita Jr., man.
Well, that brings me to
and everybody is just real dismayed. Well, it's John Romita, you know, like, bro, what is going on, man?
Well, that brings me to one of my first questions about original art for tonight that I want to get into, and that is if you guys think that a lot of colorists kind of ruin the original art. I mean, because it could be the colorist that ruined it. And I'm not saying that like all colorists, but there's times where I feel like the colorists, they do a disservice sometimes to certain pieces of art when they do the covers. And that's one of the questions. And the other question is, to Hood's thing, it could be that when these guys are getting old And Rob Liefeld talked about it in his podcast this week that as they get older, their work suffers because, you lose that coordination, and that's a bummer. So, especially in the original art world, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Who wants to go first?
Mike, Vinny, you want to go first? I'm happy to go first. You guys
Go for it.
Yeah, go for it. You can speak probably from a publisher standpoint too.
From a publisher standpoint, sure. With Shawn here, it's embarrassing. Colorists, I think, are apt to elevate a cover or to hurt a cover. It's unfair to necessarily judge them. They're so late in the production cycle. Often they get crushed. They've got to turn things around so quickly. There also is a stylistic thing that's happening. There's a tendency to over-render art at the moment from colorists, to do a lot of effects, especially lighting effects, which is, I think, partly why you're seeing this proclivity from artists to themselves over-render on the pencils. You're seeing this very rendered art becoming very trendy now, and it's because I think they're trying to make the choices that they're worried the colorists are going to make. The Romita Jr., I think it's a choice. He's an artistic choice. It might be because it's hurting his hand or he's losing muscle density, or I think probably he's just making an artistic choice. He's still a phenomenal storyteller, and he's probably made the decision that he can get rid of some of the rendering. Maybe it's slightly less commercial. Maybe he likes it better, but he's faster. Storytelling's great. Marvel still put him on, I think rightly so, some of the biggest books. He's one of the most talented people in the business. But yeah, there is certainly a contingent that don't like his rendering. I don't know if there was a question in terms of collecting art.
Everything, yeah. And collecting, it's probably a totally different thing, right?
So many collectors go based on emotional connection. That's why nostalgia is such a huge piece. And even things like famous cover or first appearance art, generally that stuff is more likely to have a larger base of nostalgic investment with it for readers, because this is stuff that's most printed, most important. Most people know it. I think that's a huge part of it.
Yeah. I think I've really noticed a couple colorists recently sort of improving the end product, especially with guys who are working digitally. I think you get sort of this blueprint, and then they really fill in sort of the pieces. It's like kind of like having the edges of a puzzle, and these guys really fill in the detail of what's going on in the middle. And guys who do it well kind of mask sometimes that something's done digitally. They can really smooth out and enhance that stuff. I was reading the new Uncanny X-Men 2 that came out today, and to me, like that's got some pretty epic coloring in there. I think it's Matthew Wilson, just beautiful. And David Marquez is David Marquez is all digital. I mean, all the interiors are digital, so you can see what a colorist can do with digital. It's pretty cool. It's cool to see.
Yeah, and I was going to mention that, like, the same thing with the inkers, right? The inkers can make a massive difference in the artwork. Especially when you compare like the original pencils to what the final product looks like. And I mean, example from back in the day, but I always thought this, like when Stephen Platt first came out with the Moon Knight stuff, that compared to where it went later, it was never the same. It was never the same, and I couldn't figure it out. And I was like, eventually, I was like, I think it's just inked differently. Like I don't know, but
it's in its time as well. I think that first Moon Knight run, he was just trying to break through.
Yeah.
Even Liefeld's work. Liefeld famously was putting a lot more work in, giving up his life to do those early New Mutants books.
Yeah.
I bet he could still do it. It's a huge sacrifice. He's got kids now. He's got obligations now.
I love though that he said that. I mean, in his podcast, he just said, look, like I realize like as I get older, I'm going to not produce high level quality anymore. And so he's sort of given it. Yeah, he did. He's like, that's why this Deadpool run he's doing right now is his last Deadpool run with Marvel. He says it's his last gig with Marvel. We'll kind of see how that plays out. But, I think there's something to be said about that, about, someone mentioned Michael Jordan in the comments, like Jordan came back and wasn't quite the same, right? People who were Jordan fans and watched him on the Washington Wizards, it wasn't quite the same as Chicago Bulls Jordan, right? Like it was, bummer. It's not quite the same guy I remember. And that's a bummer when it happens to artists. You still love seeing them and you still want to support them, but sometimes they lose a step or lose some lines in this case.
Speaking about Stephen Platt, have you guys seen his new covers that he's been doing for DC for the? Okay, so I want to talk about, and this kind of goes into it because Stephen Platt is one of my favorite sketch artists to follow when he's at a con and he's doing sketches. He has got the most beautiful stuff. I mean,
Sure.
you know what I mean? It is
insane.
next level stuff. Absolutely gorgeous. He's got tons of it. You just
See, that's Stephen Platt.
Yeah.
yes.
So
Yep.
like the covers that he's come out with the last couple of months, I don't know who that guy is.
And that's
And I
what
don't
I'm
know if he took him 10 minutes. That is not Stephen Platt, bro.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you got to know that's not good.
Yeah.
That is not good. You know, that's almost offensive, man. Like,
yeah.
dude, really, bro?
So, you know, and I don't know if a colorist is going to change art that much, but a colorist can, and an inker can change art pretty drastically, you know, for the better or for the worst.
Put that Galactus back up, Brian.
Yeah, it's beautiful, right?
Maglex is a completely different. There's an ink wash there. I mean, there's like 14 different methods he's using.
I know, but
But DC doesn't want this. I don't know that you can blame him. I don't think DC.
Yeah.
wanted it. I don't think the editor wanted this. I'm not saying that they're right, but
yeah.
this is very DC house style.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know
Unless-
if he's trying to be like Paul Pope, because that has a lot of hints of Paul Pope in it. I just the what do you call it? The shoulder
everything.
blades?
Yeah, the shoulders. I mean, the
It's
shoulders
just-
Yeah,
But-
the anatomy seems
I
off.
mean, I guess if I look at it
Yeah.
for long enough, I guess I'd be like, you know what I mean?
Something
But
feels
like
weird
at
about
at,
the arms. Like,
at like if I'm at a comic shop and I see that, I whoa, you
Yeah.
know?
That's
I mean,
beautiful.
just beautiful stuff. So,
Yeah.
and then the ultimate to me, right, are these guys. You know,
Yep.
and this is a piece that is at
Look at
the auction right now, and this is what I love.
It's insane.
Right,
Yeah.
this is a Firestorm. What I don't even know what page. What is this to? Let me see here. Let me find this.
It's a
Page
splash of X-Men 2.
Page 1.
So
yeah.
what's cool about this, Brian, is there's a collector who has all of issue 1 complete, covers and interiors. So this is really the earliest page you can get in that run by those guys, Scott and Jim.
And
And
look
this is
at
a
that.
big marketing piece as well. Didn't they use it still in licensing? Aren't there
Yeah,
t-shirts
yeah.
and posters
Oh,
and things like this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of the most known Magneto images ever made. What's crazy is there's another Magneto page in this very auction. I mean, you're looking at like 2 of the top 5 Magneto images probably in history with John Byrne doing the other one. I mean, that's the other tag team of just all stars, right?
Oh,
And you're seeing
yeah.
both Magneto pages.
There's a lot of John Byrne stuff in this Fantastic Four stuff.
Yeah.
Uh,
Check out though, if you go to, here, I'll pull it up for you. The Byrne Magneto page is just fantastic.
And I get chills when I see that bars like that Magneto, man. It's just unreal, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. There's more. Speaking of, I think here's the other Magneto one right here.
Yeah, it's 111.
No, yeah, this is
Full
it right here.
splash.
Look at that. Yeah.
One.
Massive.
And I think Liefeld talked about this in his auction, right? Or in his podcast. He said that
Yeah.
there's a Byrne splash page.
Yeah, this is Rob's favorite art pairing. He loves Byrne and Austin. I mean, he really does, and rightly so. I mean, this is epic.
Damn. Oh, how much?
Yeah.
How much is it at right now?
lot.
115. 115. What do you guys think this will end at?
138 with the juice right now. I bet that thing hits 250.
Yeah.
That surprises me. I mean, based on where it is now, I think you're right, Mike. But I would have thought this would have ended at around 140, 150.
Yeah, but we've seen Byrne pages go up in the 6-figure range, and then
With Wolverine,
yeah, that's true. But this is Magneto. I mean, he's got his own cult following. I think.
I agree on that. He's one of the few
Especially after-
villains that's actually cool
Lo-
to collect, right?
but is this,
Long-haired X-Men '97 Magneto.
What specifically is making it go for this much? I mean, in my opinion, it's not necessarily an iconic image, but maybe I just haven't seen it enough. I don't know, but
I mean, this is one of the most well rendered Magneto pieces from one of the most desired runs of X-Men with Byrne and Austin. It's just.
I mean, some people say this is the best run in the history of comics. Some people do, and
Yep.
it's justifiable.
gotcha.
And sometimes, right, it's just the guy out there with the checkbook who's like, I haven't seen
Totally.
this pop up in years, and I'm taking my shot, right? Like,
Yep. And that's a generational thing, right? Like, so, like, I grew up on Jim Lee stuff. Like, that's
I got more Jim
Lee, Rob Liefeld. Like, that's the stuff that I remember. For guys who are 10 years older than me, it's Byrne Austin. That's the stuff they remember. Days of Future Past is like
This is a big
that's
one.
kind of the biggie. Yeah.
Speaking of Wolverine,
Oh gosh, we saw this at San Diego in person.
Yeah.
You love this one, Mike.
I love it. This is a top 10 for me from my childhood.
it looks really good with the OA because it matches the actual book a
Yeah.
little bit more, right?
It does, yeah.
And it's very obvious. Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's going to do
310.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, this will have some fireworks tomorrow. Is it tomorrow or Friday? Friday.
Yep, Friday morning.
And it's so cool. It's got the trade dress on it still, the logo, all of it. It looks like At Last in his own monthly series might be new. It looks like someone might have statted that on.
Do
Yeah,
you
I saw that
guys?
too.
That's got to be another thing. Like a lot of people with the nostalgia part of it. Would you rather it have the trade dress and the corner box and all that stuff on there?
if it was on there originally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like some of the art sellers who are getting the fake
Yeah.
stats and putting them on there, and it's cool to see, but it's also like I think it's a very disingenuous.
Wow.
Yeah, especially because they don't mention it. They
Yeah.
act
Yeah.
Wow.
They
Yeah.
just this
For
is what
sure.
it is, and yeah.
I like the transparent overlays. That's kind of my preferred thing. If I'm buying a piece of art and it's got the trade dress on there and it's not original, if it's a transparent overlay and I can just see the art for what it is and then just lay the transparency down to see what it would look like, that's cool. But
Yeah.
that's kind of the extent that I would go for it.
Yeah.
But there's some art, Brian, that I've got a Stephen Platt cover that the trade dress is no longer on it. And you see because he was so detailed, but you see all this detail, all this art that you haven't seen before. The giant Moon Knight logo is covering. That's cool. I like. Sometimes it's cool to not have.
That is
it.
cool.
Mhm.
There is more.
It works so well with the trade dress.
This one I really love because of the issue itself. Too bad he's not in here, but this is the first time that Frank Miller drew Bullseye in Daredevil 160. It would have been much cooler if he was in there, but that brings me to my next kind of question about collecting this stuff and what you guys like. If it's a key book, but like say the key character like Bullseye isn't in it, are you just like I don't even want to think about it? It's got to have that key character in it, or and I'm just talking about for preference, not investing in stuff, because obviously the artist means a lot. But in this issue, Bullseye's not in this page, but this is the first time Frank Miller ever did Bullseye in this issue. What do you guys think?
There'd be a premium if Bullseye was in this.
Yeah.
It's Daredevil by Frank Miller, so it's going to do really well. If this was like 168 and you had a great page from 168 and another page with Elektra on it, first appearance of Elektra, I think that one with Elektra does twice what the other one does.
Yeah. There's definitely a premium to like sort of key books that I've seen in the time that I've collected, but I think that there's collectors, if they're going to go out and spend this type of money, they want to get the character usually that they want on it. In this case, it's kind of like Dinesh said, this is Frank Miller Daredevil, and it's just that run is just like Byrne, right? Like it's one of the seminal runs of a generation.
Yeah.
It's just like getting into some people consider it getting into just getting into the book, like getting a low grade Marvel Silver Age key. Get a 0.5, then you can work your way up. So we've got a friend that's got a New Mutants 98 page. Those are really hard to find. He's got a great page, but no Deadpool on it. He's so happy to be in the book.
Totally.
Yeah. I think also it's a piece of history, right? I mean, you can have in my opinion, personally, I'd rather have a piece of OA from a key book than to have the book, a high grade version of the book. And that doesn't always add up, but it really is about having a piece of history, and it is only a one of one. And what else can you get from that book? It's like a finite number of these original pages, you know?
Classic cover.
Awesome.
Isn't that cool?
Oh, pretty low for what this cover is at the moment.
Yeah. Frank Miller cover.
Yeah. It should jump quite a bit.
Yeah, that really surprised me when I saw that. But very, very cool. That one's beautiful. There is this right here is probably one of the craziest things that I've ever thought of seeing.
Oh, wow.
That's crazy.
I love it.
I can't believe that it's only the amount it is.
It is shocking.
This thing is going to go so big. I know so many people. I was going to pay for this, and I know so many people that have told me they're going to go nuts on it.
Yeah. That's a historic piece. There's no way. I think that goes 60, 70 grand, maybe 100 grand right at the last minute. That is such of significance, you know.
So cool.
I definitely think you're going to get somebody who wants that cover. And it only takes two, right? You're going to have one person who really wants it and one person who has the money and wants it too. So
this can be, I could see this being bought by somebody who's not even really into comics that much, and just the historical fact of it, you know?
Yeah. It's so bizarre, the stuff that, you know, if you look back, just the things every generation gets away with, you look back and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that this happened. And this is one of those moments like, this is crazy.
Kurt Swan Superman, like, to me, that is the Superman, right? Kurt Swan is.
Kurt Swan. The typographer here, I am curious, in brackets, black, exclamation mark. Where's the Eisner for lettering?
Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
And then there's I got a couple more here. This one was pretty cool. Barry Windsor-Smith.
Yeah, that is a great page.
Just a beautiful, really detailed page from the Weapon X storyline. Look at this.
So cool.
Yeah.
He's so good.
This is unbelievable.
We have a buddy who collects a lot of Barry Windsor-Smith, and this is definitely right up his alley.
I was going through these the other day. I found a short box full of Marvel Comics Presents, and there was like 3 full runs of this, and I had to pull one out. I had to pull one out and just go through it and just flip through it.
So much of
again.
it was kick ass too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a great example of the art shows you so much, because that newsprint they printed those books on, the coloring wasn't quite what it needed to be on those books.
Yeah.
You just see so much of what he's doing tonally here.
That's
beautiful.
That's
a good point. That is a really good point. The paper change.
21,000.
That's gonna triple, I would bet.
Yeah.
God, what an epic piece right there.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
If you wanted a Barry Windsor-Smith Weapon X page, you'd be hard pressed to find much of a better one than that. I've seen one or two that I like just slightly more, but that's up there. It's definitely a top fiver. Oh, that's great.
Hell yeah. This is awesome.
Just melting your face off.
So good.
Right?
No.
This is
and for its age, it looks really clean. Those blacks are really black.
Don't you feel like all of the horror covers that we've seen over the last year have just been fantastic? I mean, just
really well taken care of.
Yeah, beautifully preserved.
Shout out to James at Hive Comics. He says, asking for a friend, when is Dinesh going to let the amazing Hive Comics be the first retailer to do a bad idea variant?
It's a good idea.
When they have an idea good enough. I've told them to come up with the craziest thing.
What would you think about a variant of this cover, Dinesh?
Can we just print that exactly?
Yeah.
We'll add 2 lines.
Yeah. What do you think this ends at? This is crazy classic.
It should be like 120. It should go around there. It should double. Wow. Not sure it will. There's a lot of great art, and this is so specific, being pre-code horror.
You know what? The last auction had so much horror in it, and this one doesn't feel like it has as much. And so I wouldn't be surprised if you see sort of the people who missed out last time go big on this one.
Okay.
Do you know what I mean? Because I mean, there was just so much. The last auction was stacked. They had that whole collection there.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
These heritage auctions have become like such an event in
It
themselves
is
to
such a
see
spectacle.
all the different stuff that is there, and just to think of like just having one of these pieces
Yep.
is a grail piece, and there's
Yep.
so many pieces.
Yep.
It's unreal.
Just
Dinesh, like, you think like pieces like that are they moving over to the fine art world? Like, are they being? Is it mostly comic collectors and people who are buying nostalgia who are buying these things, or do you think it's
That's a good
people
question.
who are actually fans of fine art who are starting to get into stuff like that, like or appreciating it?
Who are you asking?
You and Mike.
Definitely, I know a lot of art collectors, fine art collectors are getting in. Not to the same extent that I'm seeing high-end book collectors. There seems to be a huge migration from people that were buying Amazing Fantasy 15 in mid-grades that are now going, wait a minute, I can get a cover like that for the same price as a mid-grade AF-15. AF-15 is amazing. There's nothing can touch the blood, sweat that went into a page that became the production art, that's the original art for a book. It's just nothing compares.
Yeah, I agree. Vinny, I mean, we've, in the last few months, we've heard of, larger equity plays where people are pooling money together. I mean, that's always been kind of a rumor out there, but we're seeing more sort of movement of that rumor, at least. I heard that quite a bit in San Diego. I just think that, when you look at comic art for what it is, it's pretty undervalued stuff. A lot of the guys here collect sports cards, and you can look at cards and say, like, this thing was just printed. I didn't even know about this a year ago. It just came out, and that that's 5-figure card, 6-figure card, whatever it is, right? And here's this stuff that's
for a certain set, though, right? I mean, this stuff is expensive relative to you're saying trading cards or fine art. They feel like they're getting good value, which is why they're jumping in so big.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, like, you see it like on newly printed stuff, right? In other hobbies, like stuff that just comes out, 6-figure stuff. And here you have stuff that is kind of embedded in our culture and in our society for decades, generations at this point.
This right
And
here.
Amazing.
Jim Lee, one of the pinups from Legends of the Dark Knight #50, classic book that we all remember, right? That Joker cover. And there's just another perfect example of why Jim Lee's so much better when he has. It's just him. Is this Scott Williams doing the inks? I don't know if Scott Williams did the inks on this. Yeah.
It looks like him just doing his own work.
Yeah, yeah. But, man, that's beautiful.
Wow.
Dude, speaking of history, did you see the Tales of Suspense page that's in here?
I did. Yeah.
That's that page, the Tales of Suspense page. This is also amazing.
Yeah, this is awesome.
This is the type of stuff I really love looking at and thinking about buying, right? Is because this is the stuff that I remember as a kid, or not as a kid, as a teenager, being like, I would love to actually, find those books, those Warrior magazines, right? They were hard to find over here, and nobody was thinking about, how V for Vendetta and Miracle Man and all that stuff were in that. And then here's a beautiful page that also has a little bit of a, not necessarily historic value, but the movie, everything to do with this mask that was created, this look that was created in this, is
anonymous.
Yep.
It's pretty special.
I'm with you, Brian. I mean, I would love to own like some Watchmen pieces, I don't care what it is, like from any issue.
Yeah.
But just to add it to my Watchmen collection,
Yep. Yeah, that's a cool idea. It's just like you were talking about, the people that were buying those books, those AF-15s and those blue chip books are now switching over. Well, I'm going to bring up Rob again in his recent podcast, which caused such a big, a deal in the content creation world, because he talked pretty down about comic book speculators And
Well, Kit, I saw the show last night, and I wanted to chime in, but I said like I'll wait till tonight. But like I understand Rob Liefeld's point of view. Okay, I totally get it. But when like Marvel or DC perpetuate it, so getting back to Dazzler, right? And there was speculation that Taylor Swift was. Well, as Marvel perpetuated that, putting out Dazzler books and feeding that and making people think, hey, this is good spec. Why would they make Dazzler books? Yeah. Why would they do homages? Why would they do
Facsimile.
A reprint?
Yeah.
So
look at Sean laughing. He's like, Marvel have no idea whether she's Taylor Swift until the movie comes out.
Absolutely, but like, it almost felt like
anything.
You don't
it almost
think
feels like the company is perpetuating that speculation.
Yeah,
but then all the blame is getting put on YouTubers and speculators. It's all your fault that people are disenchanted with the hobby because they went off of something Bryan said or Joe said or whoever. But
every comic collector in the world loves Marvel. They're not going to blame the thing they love.
Sure.
The 90s crash has 100 reasons.
Absolutely.
This is one reason. It was Marvel. Marvel crashed the market. No one ever says it, but it's true. A glut of second-tier product.
Yep.
Destroyed the marketplace.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's
not Valiant, not variants, not spec.
What's very interesting though is he in this podcast he kind of says he brings up how it's not necessarily the creators and the publishers. It's more along the lines of like the people that push it up, like the apps. I think he mentions the apps or the websites at one point, which is very interesting to me. But what's even more interesting that has to do with this episode is that he went back to talking about how if you want to speculate on something, speculate on this stuff. Speculate on original art. This is the stuff that's rare. That's really rare. Yeah. Comic books, he kept on mentioning like comic books aren't rare. They're not, this is rare. Which is also very interesting to me, that he brings that up. So
I agree with him, but it does seem a little well-timed when you consider he's retiring from Marvel, right? He's like, I'm not going to do any more spec books, so don't buy them.
Yeah,
the bottom's falling out.
It's the art of the pivot right here. The art of the pivot.
Don't forget, I have there's a cello pack of my variants.
Oh yeah.
Don't jump into that world.
Speaking of that, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to open this right now. So here we go. Speaking of Rob Liefeld and his Marvel comic work, here is a chance to pull a Marvel Rob Liefeld cover of X-Men 97 given to us by Whatnot, which is pretty amazing. It's let me go ahead and do this so I can show everybody what this looks like. So here you go. You can see, pretty amazing. It's got all the views or the looks of a comic pack, which is pretty awesome. Here's the backside.
That's beautiful. Honestly, that's great packaging.
Yeah,
looks really good.
It's got a flap, just like a card pack, and no searching, right? Just like a 89 Upper Deck, no searching. These packs, they did a really good branding on them. So here's all the different types of things you can get. You can get 4 different type covers, and you can get a trade, a virgin, a silver foil, a gold foil, and then signed copies. And there's ratios on them. So this one was a little bit messed up in the pack, so we're going to open it live.
They're going to give you a God pack. It's going to be
awesome. I know, right? I'm like, the suspense, man.
Highlight on the show.
This is cool,
This is what guys. The hobby needs right here, man.
Just ripping packs.
Let's be smart about this.
Man. Just the best of both worlds,
I think if these were at a comic shop, they would sell really well, honestly.
Bro, you got to scream when you open it too, man.
Dude, if I pull something, we're going backyard breaks crazy, dude.
Oh my
God. Love
it. All right, here we go.
Look at this. Oh my god.
First book, you get to see it with me. Oh, no foil. No foil. Oh, look at this. Okay. They even put a little sheet behind it, so it doesn't color rub. So here we go.
Color rub.
Wow. Okay.
There's our first cover. All right, come on. One time. Oh, one time. Nope. There's another one. Virgin. And finally,
Here's the hit. Let's go, Brian.
nope. Just a regular trade. But you know what this does, you guys? Me not being able to pull the hit out of this makes me want to go downstairs and rip 5 more, baby. Let me tell you.
Get him! Go get him! Go bring him! Brian, go get another one. You cannot, bro, you cannot open that junk on live TV. You better go get another one. We need to hit.
You have more, Brian? Do you have more?
I do have more. I do have more,
And you're
dude.
going to leave your audience like this?
Everyone,
Right now.
We'll open more.
Brian, go get another one.
You
We'll
rip
open
till
more.
you hit, dude. Rip
We'll-
till you hit.
We will open more. Give us another 20, 15 minutes maybe, and then I'll go grab another one. But but yeah, so pretty amazing. I mean, not too bad. Shout out to Whatnot and Marvel for
That's a cool idea. I mean, it's definitely clearly they've got their audience and they're going after it.
yes.
You know?
you know what's up.
Yes. Speaking of that, so let's take a look and see. I hear that they're on eBay. Marvel, X-Men.
J. Scott Campbell put out like a 10-pack of that. I'm all in, bro.
Oh man,
Mama!
I don't see any. X-Men 97 foil. Let's go Whatnot.
Yeah, let's put a bounty out on a comic.
Yeah, look at that.
wow.
$200 already.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
Go get the packs, Brian.
$200
Well, listen
for
to
a
that Liefeld
pack.
podcast before you go press that buy it now.
Yes.
But the packs are $200 a piece? Is that
Some
there's
people
five-
are selling
five of
them. Yeah.
what's fair market value?
What?
are they gonna-
$200 for a pack?
Someone's just trying it, I guess.
Good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
somebody's got to.
fishing.
Yeah, you get here's 3. Wait, nope, 200 a pack for one. Yeah, look at that.
Oh my
Very
God.
interesting.
Man.
Well, first to
Addiction
market
to
type
trio.
stuff. Yep, first to market type stuff. That's hey, that's another play from the sports card world, right? Throw that first to market and get that big money. But
And so what are the hits? Is there like original sketches?
there's original autos. But could you imagine them throwing original, sketch covers in there, and those would be the hits.
You remember
Harley's Little Black Book.
Yes.
Yeah.
And there's like sketches that haven't been found yet.
What do you guys think about back to the art stuff? What do you guys think about searching out some of that weird, original art? Because I've talked to Vinny about this before. We talked to Mikey about it. That was one of the first original art conversations that I've had was with Mikey talking about that stuff. Packaging art for G.I. Joes or for video games, original art for video games, that type of stuff is crazy, and it's so much harder to find. You know what I mean? It's not hard.
No, it's hard.
It is hard.
I know people in the video game world who, when I started thinking about it, because I feel like I was relatively early on the video game stuff, but not early enough. But then I was like, well, maybe I can pivot and do a little bit of OA digging there. These guys were all
Cleaned it up.
already
They
cleaned
cleaned
it
it all
out.
up.
They've reached out to the original artists for everything. They've been getting recreations from the original artists. Like I saw a guy, somebody I know, a buddy Dan. He got like the Street Fighter 2 image redone by the original artist.
Beautiful.
Wow.
It's like an oil painting. It's so cool.
Here's an example kind of that I'm a big fan of searching that stuff out in actual magazines. Like funny enough, there's this old New York magazine that Matt Groening originally had his Life is Hell stuff in, right? And it was on the very back page, and the very final thing in the whole magazine was this little strip about life in hell. And they have, I don't know if this is one of those strips, but it's one of his original Life in Hell strips. And this is, before Simpsons. And this is super cool.
That's crazy.
All right?
Yep.
It's like his rookie card, bro.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
It seems
$2,000.
cheap too for what that is.
Seems very cheap. Yeah.
Do people search for creator, like the first time a creator ever did something? I feel like that would be like a grail piece because there's probably not a lot of them around, right? Like Coyote, the Coyote 12 or 11, whatever, McFarlane stuff, or Page, or
They don't do it. It's not as mature a hobby yet as comics. So there's tons of opportunity.
Yeah.
When Mike and I first came in, all of Frank Miller's stuff, Brian Boland, it had all been it matured. It was hard to get a hold of. It was pricey. People weren't letting it go, and so we loved that stuff, but it was hard to get. We looked at Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, Tom McFarlane, first appearance stuff. It was peanuts compared to that. So we dived into that. Now that's come up a lot, but the stuff you're talking about, that's the opportunity right now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that stuff was really, really cheap. Like I remember buying and I feel like people didn't care about it. I remember buying a McFarlane page from All-Star Squadron 47. Like it was this really nice McFarlane page, and it was like $800 or something when I bought it. It was crazy.
Wow.
But and of course it doesn't look like his style later, but it's still part of the history, right?
yeah. It would be awesome if you could get some of the really old stuff. Like, again, speaking of Liefeld, I don't even know if this stuff exists, but the first time Liefeld ever got anything published in a book, he sent in a sketch of Boris the Bear. You remember the Boris the Bear, the comic?
Oh yeah.
He sent a sketch in while he was working at a comic shop. He drew it and he sent it in, and they printed it without letting him know. So he didn't know it was in there until it showed up in the comic shop, and people are like, "Look, your work's in here." Could you imagine like that original pinup page being out there?
That's cool.
You know?
I've got his first published cover.
You do?
Megaton?
It was like Checkmate, like an
Checkmate,
early
yes,
issue,
DC.
like 7 or 8 or something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
See, that's the type of stuff I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about.
That stuff
Brian.
will blow up. The older collectors they had their pick of the litter. Everything was around. Nobody cared.
Yep.
So they just went after best representation of an artist doing their marquee character, just beautiful art. And they get upset. They get upset with Mike and I and a bunch of our friends because they're like, you guys don't like art. It's like, no, we like art. You just won't sell it to us. So we go for the next best thing. But we also like other stuff. We like stuff we grew up with. We like first appearances. We like early art.
Who tells you that you don't like art? Who says, and why would they make that comment?
Yeah.
They're elitist, and I think, I'm guessing they're elitist, but also I think they're a little probably upset that the market is broader and bigger, because for decades they were just between themselves for not a lot of money trading this stuff, going back and forth, and now it's really ballooned, and they're finding themselves either priced out or too much competition to find things. People got there first. I would be upset too, I guess, if I'd spent my whole life one way and now the whole world is paying attention.
Yeah.
But that's kind of what you want. If you were in that world for so long and you were scooping up great pieces of work, now because it's open to everybody and everybody's decided, hey, this is the next big thing. I mean, this is artwork, right? Instead of kids e-comics, that's the best thing that could happen for them. So I don't know why they're
definitely happy about the price increases.
Sure.
But a lot of these guys, their identity is wrapped around one or two pieces of art that they own. And so I think they get confused.
I think they're also probably thinking, damn, I missed out on some of these iconic first appearances that I could have bought for $100
because you were collecting it and you had every opportunity to get it.
And I focused on this thing instead, like it's probably like that as well.
There's a notorious dealer who tends to miss on every first appearance and then hypes all the ones that don't hit. It's pretty funny. You'll see really expensive, 5 or 6 figure pieces, 4 or 5 figure pieces. And it's always the stuff that falls flat, that's gone in, 6 months, the character's died on the vine, and misses out on things like Eddie Brock, or misses out on like Charlie from the new Hulk run that's turning into a pretty big player. It's just funny when that stuff happens. Brian, you asked about some of the smaller things. I put something in the chat there that was kind of a fun thing for me to find. I don't know if any of you guys play the Marvel Snap game on your mobile device, but that's been pretty big. And I think about like Pokemon for, previous generation. Pokemon art is impossible to find. And if it ever came to market, it would be pretty expensive. Magic, the Gathering art's really expensive right now. So I was kind of looking at what's the next iteration of that. For a lot of people, they're playing Marvel Snap and it's digital and it's cool because they have all these like really good artists doing the variants of the cards. And that site that I linked actually shows all the different variants for every character. And it shows you the artist who did that particular variant. And so a lot of this stuff's really cool because it's like, I mean, when I first started collecting some of that stuff, you could get into I bought the Miles Morales, like the prime card for like, I don't know, $600, $500.
Wow.
And it's a big deal, right? Like it's a big game. It's got millions and millions of followers. So I just kind of think about like what's popular right now, because that's nostalgia 20 years from now. And I like it. And it's just a nice way, rather than spend $500 on a commission, that isn't published, that doesn't have any sort of nostalgia for most people, spend it on some Marvel Snap art that you can like show people like, hey, here's the game, here's the variation, here's the card I have, right? Like that's kind of cool. And they're really cool. They're all the same size. Like they have to be created on the same platform for sizing purposes. And I don't know, that's been kind of a fun, nice, easy way to get some of my friends into the hobby as well. When someone's like, where do I start? I can't go out and buy, a Wolverine 1 cover for $400,000. I can't either, right? Here's Marvel Snap art that's like a couple $100. It's pretty fun.
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
That's very smart. Yeah, and it's like we were talking about earlier. It's an easy way to get into it and not spending a ton of money at the same time, like you said. About starting and getting in on a 0.5 of a great book.
Well, and I want people to have a good experience, right? I don't want people to come into the hobby and like get burned by somebody right away. That sucks. Like I want the hobby to grow.
Listen to Mike's tone. This is the same tone you hear when someone says, "Just try heroin one time, man. Just one time." Heroin.
What could possibly go wrong? Just one time.
Another crazy piece in this auction that I really love, and that also harkens back to a lot of that British comic stuff, is a page from Deadline. It's actually a cover from Deadline. And if you guys that don't know, Deadline magazine is the first appearance of Tank Girl, and this is a killer cover. And it's another question, right? Because a lot of this art doesn't have the color aspect of it, and you get a piece like this and all this stuff. Here's the other great thing about collecting original art: it gives you a reason to put it on the wall and enjoy it, right? A lot of people just put their comics in a box and don't even enjoy the art. You can put a piece, half the fun is framing that beautiful piece of art and putting it someplace cool. This would be an amazing piece of art in any home.
Totally. Yeah. And then, share that story when you have visitors, guests coming over. Like you're inviting people into the hobby with you. And I think that's what's fun about it.
Yeah. Rather
than the exclusivity of it. I've got this thing that no one else can see. Here's this thing that I want to share with you.
All right. So this is a pretty cool cover that I talked about backstage with these guys. And this is just again, synchronicity follows me around, just like it follows all these guys around. So one of the most amazing moments in comic books that I've ever read, that I ever remember being at the comic shop at, and people just talking about it, like, dude, you have to see Walking Dead this week, even more so than issue 100, right? With the great moment in Walking Dead, it's this moment. It's the moment where he shows his young girlfriend, and by the way, the moment where Negan is kind of like becoming friends with him. What's his name again? The kid, they changed it.
Carl.
Carl. Yeah. So the way Negan kind of befriends Carl and starts telling him about how, no, man, you need to take that damn bandana off, and you need to wear that thing like a badge of honor, right? It was such a great moment in those comics. It was like, and it all leads up to that moment, and this reminded me of this moment, obviously, because it's Carl without, he's got the thing off, he's wearing it proudly, it's got his little girlfriend in there, and that moment, you guys, is when Carl basically takes it off and shows it to her for the first time, and she licks it. It was the craziest freaking thing I'd ever seen in comics. It was like, the people going, dude, did you see that page? Did you see that page? And usually when that moment like that happens, it's not like for something like that. And we're backstage talking about it, and Clutch goes, "Yeah, you want to see it?" Oh,
so
my
the pencils,
God.
the Charlie pencils, and then the Stefano's inks.
Oh,
Just seeing when it was like one of those things when I first,
Dude,
really,
how cool is that, bro?
Oh my gosh.
pretty rad.
That show is wild, man. It's amazing.
Dude,
Like the
that
stuff
is
that they push.
freaking phenomenal, Clutch.
Yeah,
That is
I
awesome.
when I saw that in the when we got the pages in, I think Sean Mack was like, dude, you have to check this out. And so I read through the PDF that we had at the time, and I immediately emailed Mark. Hey, I was like, Mark, I don't ask a lot of like people that I work with. I don't ask reps or artists for a ton of like favors and stuff. Sometimes I'm like, hey, dude, I really need this, and I was like, this is such an insane piece of art, and I think I got it. And Robert, I think he told me he's like you're sick. And I was like, all right, you're the one who wrote it, so I'm not the one.
yeah, dude. I would love to hear the story about like talking to Charlie and being like, all right, this is what I want, or like, like how do you write that in the script, like writing that in the script?
And knowing their process, like it just shows up in the script, and Charlie's just got, oh mate, and he's like, he's like, I'm gonna draw this now, I guess. Here we go.
Oh my God,
Amazing.
dude. So
Robert's like,
you
it's
get a
great.
cover, original cover for 160, you guys. It's only at $340 right now.
That's crazy.
You know, last year, Brian, or it might have been the year before, I'm so gonna regret the Squadron Supreme number 13 variant, and it's one of the best renderings of Namor. Like, pull up that
Yes.
cover. They had
Yes, I
the
know what you're
original
talking about.
art for like $5,000, dude.
Wow.
And how and I was looking at it, and I remember calling Yee, and he goes, man, that's pretty badass. And we're just like, you talk about it so much, and then it just disappears, you know? And somebody like had the original art listed on eBay of this cover, which is a pretty hard to find cover in high grade.
Yeah,
But yeah, dude.
that's cool. That's a really cool cover.
Yeah.
And I told myself, next time I see some original art that I can afford and I can buy, I'm gonna pull the trigger.
Yep.
I'm just not gonna
And that's
talk
the
about
other
it.
thing.
I'm just gonna buy it.
Yeah, that's the other thing. Like people, we kind of talked about how these heritage auctions have become these events, and that some of these pages are selling for, 6 figures and more. They could be kind of like, oh man, I'm not going to go check that out. But you can find affordable pieces of amazing stuff there too. So don't be scared to go check it out. That's for sure.
There's tons of great deals. There's always our little group, Mike and Vinny, our little group is always at the end of the auction. We go, what are the ones that surprised us, and where were all the deals? Which ones were they? Someone got a great deal on this. Oh my God, you see everyone missed this one.
Yeah,
so much.
A perfect example. This is a Gabriel Dell'Otto original cover, and it's a classic comic book. This was one of the first. I remember like when the retailer variants were coming out. I remember, and it'll probably end up selling for what one of the really rare Dell'Otto variants sells for in a high grade or a 9.8. You could buy a great cover. And that's another thing that talking about the coloring. There's certain artists that these artists that paint, and I'm surprised that it doesn't add an extra premium. Or does it add an extra premium? Dell'Otto does all the painting. Perillo, Carla Cohen, Alex Ross obviously is getting a huge premium, but are the
there
painters?
is a premium to paint it. There definitely is a premium to paint it. It's not the reason it doesn't feel like it. It's not the same as the premium for a really sought after piece of art or a famous one or a nostalgic one. Those premiums are so much larger. It in relative terms, you don't even notice the premium for painted versus not painted.
Yeah.
But there is some cool. I mean, Clayton Crane does some amazing painting stuff. I've got a painted piece from him that I just love. One of my favorites.
And then before we get into pickups, this was kind of cool. This was a recent more recent GI Joe piece. This is from the I think the IDW run. Is this from the IG? No, this is from, I can't remember what issue this was.
It says 176 up there.
It says 176.
Yeah.
Okay. So Herb Trimpe. So you have that aspect and Larry Hama, and it's a great Viper piece. So I know Nate. If Nate saw this Red Hood, he'd be going crazy for this.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. It's only at $2,000.
Cool.
Yeah. So,
Not bad.
all right.
That's what I would want, the first GI Joe cover,
Oh God.
original art,
Oh, I've
the
seen
first cover.
a buddy of mine owns it. It's
Really,
so
What?
yeah.
That's
It
cool.
was like we were at his apartment before he was getting ready to move, and he was like, "You want to see something weird?" And I'm like, "What's up?" And he just pulls it out and was like, wait, where? And he's like, "Yeah, I've had it for a while." And it was one of those things where, like, I think he saw it and he's like, "I'm gonna buy it," or he traded a bunch of stuff into Heritage to sell, and basically built up his war chest to kind of buy it. And I was like, "This is insane." It's so cool. I was like, there's things that, as we talked about too, like that's one of those things, like that's a core memory for me. That's like, I remember that book, that cover, that's such a thing that, like, you saw it on all the marketing material as a kid. It's just like, that's a thing.
Yeah.
There's that nostalgia.
That was my first comic,
Yeah.
that I bought with my own money from mowing lawns,
Love it.
and I took that money and because I got tired of begging my dad for money, so I got tired of it. So I hold grudges. He goes, "I told you I'm only gonna buy." Oh, okay, all right, I'll go get my own money. And then my uncle put me to work at the comic shop, and the rest is history. So love you, Dad.
Yeah, amen. This is probably one of the biggest stories in comic books in the last couple months, and the whole reason that I wanted to get everybody together is to talk about this one piece, and that being the New Mutants 98 cover that is for sale for $7.5 million. Look at that thing.
That is, I don't know if anyone's on the map. That's $1.8 million per foot.
Unbelievable.
Amazing.
Do you guys think it'll sell?
It's too high.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
I honestly think that what's his name, Ryan Reynolds would buy this. Like, if someone
he'll buy a football club before he buys this art. It's a little more return on investment on that one.
You think?
Yeah.
I think it is just a lot for this. I mean, there is a number for this. It's not 7.5.
I figure. What do you think, Sean? I think if this was at auction, it would go 2.5 to 3.
I can see that. Yeah. I think that's right in that wheelhouse.
Kind of like, wasn't that like Black Suit Spidey? Wasn't it around like 3 or something like that?
That's right.
3.2 or something like that.
So let me ask you guys something. So just say I bought this for $5 million, right?
Yeah.
What levels this up? What could I do as a collector?
Just wait.
Level this piece up. Autographs, would that level it up? Somebody do.
Wait. You spent $5 million on this? It's
no.
worth
I'm
$5
saying,
million.
like, how would you level this up if you wanted to?
Hood, you
Or
could
just
get
do nothing.
you could get a Rob Liefeld certificate of authenticity. You can get a sticker.
Yeah, something.
You can
Yeah,
get a chisel signature, a balloon with Deadpool on it. That's how you level it up.
yeah.
The truth is you can't, but here's how it levels up. Here's how someone can. You just have to hold it, because Marvel will keep putting out Deadpool movies with Ryan Reynolds, and then Deadpool action figures, Deadpool video games, Deadpool bandages, Deadpool apparel, new generation of fans, more comics. It's just becomes more and more ubiquitous. Every time there's a movie people love, they love this more. It elevates itself. Plus, the whole hobby is continually rising. Original art is continually rising. This thing is probably worth $7.5 million in 4 years, 5 years.
2 more movies. Which rumor today came out that they're talking about 4 right now, and they're bringing Hugh Jackman back. So if they do that,
Good Lord.
yeah.
Of course they are. They're going to give him $100 million. They made like, what did it make? 1.4 billion.
Yeah. It was pretty
I'm just
crazy.
saying, this is one of the few characters where there is no question, no dispute as what his first appearance is. Like you get other characters, where is it 299 or 300, 180, 181? Same thing with Gambit. This clearly the first appearance, like bar none, there is no debate. Is it another book?
And
it's
he's
this
right
one.
there on the middle of the cover
And he's
too.
right there in the middle of the cover, without a doubt.
Dinesh is right. I mean, this is you. It's in time. It'll get there. It's just right now. It's just a little high.
Yeah, I think we talk a lot about like those generational characters, and there's a couple that have been like sort of paradigm shifters. I think that when you go throughout comic history, like in terms of Marvel, like you had Spider-Man, that was a big shifter. Wolverine was probably the next. Venom, Deadpool, and then since then probably Miles, and that's about it, right?
Yeah.
Those are the big generational, big pivoters, right? Those are the ones that changed something and rose above the rest. And so you're talking like absolute A-tier status on this piece. It's one of the best pieces in the world for an art collector.
Do any of you guys know the story behind it, the history behind it? Did Rob sell this within the last 20 years? Did he sell it originally? Like,
He sold it at a show for, I think I was told $300 or $400, maybe less. And then it was sold for $50,000, I think, on eBay. It went quick though, buy it now. And then one collector has had it for a long time. And is now, I don't know if he's serious. I think he's got some big offers. I think he's had several 7-figure offers, and
for sure,
maybe he thought, let me try my hand.
Yeah.
Good timing. I mean, it's the right thing to do. And like when you think about it like this, like you say, okay, it's not 7.5, but where is it? Is it 3? Okay, now all of a sudden, like you're thinking like that's a lot more than art was selling for a year ago, 2 years ago, right? Like in general, that's a big like mental shift. That's not a difficult jump to make anymore.
Yeah.
So I think it's the right move, and I think it helped Heritage. I think it helped the collector. I mean, this is a brilliant piece.
Yeah, and it's also just by putting it out there, just like letting people know, like, hey, like sometimes like things like these we talk about like ghosts in comics, like there's art that's like you've never seen, it's never pops up, and there's one like, hey, he wants you to know it's out here. So if someone does come like, hey, I am gonna offer 5.
Yeah.
Can't say he would probably say no to that figure, like it just wants you guys to see it out there.
But
It's
now
just like-
after a headline and that says 7.5 million, and if somebody comes in at 3.4, it might actually seem like a deal to a buyer.
Hey, dude, I put a card, that I didn't think was worth that as much as it was, and I said I'm gonna put it on eBay because it's the only one. I'm gonna put it at 10 times what I thought it would sell for, and every once in a while you'll get somebody that comes in and goes, I'll give you half, and you're like, that's way more than I expected. So yeah, that happens all the time.
Well, and honestly, like the level of wealth on the high end of this hobby is pretty insane. Like there are people out there with art collections that are just hard to even fathom, and 7 million is not the same as 7 million to the average collector. It's just not.
It's so crazy. So crazy. What do you guys think? And this brings me to the next question, so we can get in. I want to get into some pickups.
Yeah.
You brought up Miles, and Mike. I know that you're a big Miles collector. You collect a lot of Miles stuff. Yeah. Do you see anybody that is new? Might be a new character created in the last year or two that might be and you don't have to give away your cornbread, but
that's okay.
Yeah. Is there anybody that you think that, hey, these are some characters that might be worth going and looking for some of their original pieces?
I mean, I think it's hard to say with them.
First of all,
Mike already has them all. Yeah. That's why I said Mike.
Yeah.
let it finish.
Let me just say the characters that have impressed me like modern characters since Miles that have impressed me. I mean, it's no secret. I love Something's Killing the Children. Like that's an impressive character to me. Erica Slaughter, you see, like there's someone sent me, actually Andrew, who's in the chat, sent me a pic. He's like, this is so Mike. And it was Iman Vellani, the Miss Marvel actress who plays Kamala, cosplaying as Erica Slaughter.
Wow.
And it was like, it was like, yeah, those are two things I love, like Ms. Marvel and and Erica. So to me, like this is, you know, in books that I read regularly, this is on my list. Like Something's Killing the Children and House of Slaughter. I read these religiously. I think this world's fascinating. Much like I thought, you know, Saga was pretty interesting and Walking Dead was pretty interesting. There's some really cool indie stuff that has come out, but nothing that's stuck the same way, in my opinion, those three titles have. And so Marvel characters, I haven't seen one yet that I can say, yeah, that's the one that's going to be the next. It doesn't mean that they're not out there. Miles took a long time to develop, right? Like Miles has been out since 2011. So it's taken a bit of time, but you know, keep reading, see what happens. I'm curious to see what happens with Dylan Brock. I want to see, you know, how that plays out. I don't know.
Donny Cates was around.
Yeah.
It would be a little more potent, but
yeah. But I mean, he's still pretty mainstay in the Venom universe.
Yeah.
Like you see him, he's becoming so familiar that it's like, oh yeah, it's Dylan. It's that he's son.
Yeah.
Like, so there's this familiarity already with a character like that. So I don't know what the next is, but you know, I'm keeping an eye on it. I like a lot of what's going on with the X-Men stuff right now. I want to see if they flesh out some of those characters and if anyone has any sort of staying power.
I think also look towards like the new generation and what's happening now. I mean, my kids are watching Spidey and His Amazing Friends. You'll be surprised at all the characters they throw in there. Like even like, why am I seeing like Reptile in there and like just random characters? You're like, what? Like what? Yeah. And so my son and daughter know who these characters are. Like Kamala Khan, like everybody's in these shows. It's like, and all the kids, it's like right next to Paw Patrol in terms of popularity, you know?
Yeah.
So
yeah, DZ's saying Spider-Boy, maybe. I mean, it could be. You know, I think it's too early for me to say, yeah, there's definitely a collector who picks up a lot of this Spider-Boy stuff. He loves Spider-Boy. He likes rec rap. You know, it's not my sort of niche, but you know, I hope somebody does pick up the next leg. I want to see that. Yeah, it's good for the hobby when that happens.
Yeah. It's
you know, a lot of it too. It's all contingent on the writing.
Yeah.
You know, and all you need is put a couple of good stories together, and then you got a little streak. But what happens is, like that's when that Doom book came out. That was the best stuff I had read.
Do you guys know who bought that? Do you guys know who bought that?
The interiors, the whole book.
Yeah.
Don't, but that dealer is not necessarily to be trusted, so it's hard to tell if it's really sold or not.
Dude, what did you guys think about that issue? I mean, did you guys, when you first saw it, did you guys go seek out some of the original art, or did you contact anybody? No,
because for me, Brian, I have to I stick in, I collect first appearances. Like that's really where I want to stay, because if I start going after anything that's cool, dude, I'll find something cool every single day. Literally every single day. I'll be like, oh, look at, there's the big heritage auctions we talk about, but a lot of the deals are in the weekly stuff, right? There's a comic link weekly auction. There's a heritage weekly auction, and stuff slips through the cracks. I mean, that's how Dinesh knows. I got the first Yelena page on a week, a Wednesday comic link auction, because no one was paying attention. Just that stuff.
Right combination, not paying attention and not enough knowledge, and it was slightly too new.
Wow,
all the time.
That's amazing.
Man, that takes discipline, not to get distracted by pretty bird, you know, and it's so easy in this hobby because we love this thing, and it's like I'm only going to collect Campbell, Hughes, and Turner, and that's it. But then, man, that's a badass Sanford Green cover right there. I gotta go get that. You know,
it's so easy for that to happen. This group we have, there's 30 of us. And all we do all day is someone will post this thing and we all just chime in, no, discipline, or yes.
Stay the course. Stay the course. Yep.
Yeah.
That's
We're like, no,
awesome.
it's collecting.
like a support
Yes,
group. That's what we
100%.
need, Brian. Don't do it.
Yeah.
makes the
Well,
audience very happy.
you talked about a book, Hood. I think it was Hood that just talked about a book being good, like a good story and everything. And you brought up Something Is Killing the Children. Something Is Killing the Children is being talked about pretty heavy in comics right now because they have the new story arc. It's actually being written very well, and it's a great comic that people talk about for reading, right? And the art's great in too, but it's very rare for a comic to be talked about that much just because of story these days. And this is a cover that you picked up, and I think that, is there a more iconic image of Erica Slaughter other than this?
I mean, Jeff DeCall has some pretty cool stuff, but this is my favorite. It was funny. I picked this up at San Diego. I had made the deal beforehand. So I'll give you a quick snippet. So I missed on this a couple of years ago. I told our group, hey, like everyone back off. I'm going after this thing so hard. Like I'm going to get this cover. And it got to bidding. And it was just like, this is going way higher than I felt like it should at the time. And I missed, and I kicked myself for 2 years. I have the Jenny Friesen cover for issue 1 as well.
Oh, wow.
And I just was like, gosh, I wish that I had this to pair it. I love this cover. And then like 2 weeks before San Diego, I got a call, and it was, hey, this piece, I don't know if you have any interest in this thing, but like, it seems like maybe something you'd like. Would you be interested in buying this? And I was able to negotiate it for just a little bit more than it hammered for, a few years before. To me, this was just like meant to be in my collection. I love this character so much. So I brought it to San Diego. I picked it up there. And then I showed it to Jay Lee, who was there. And Jay is so fun. He like made my heart drop because I'm sitting there. I'm like, Jay, I've got something like you're going to be so excited to see. And I pull it out. And he's like, dude, I've got some bad news for you. It's a fake. It's like, what? He's like, I'll take it off your hands.
That's awesome. That is great.
Oh my gosh. Because Jay's like stoic. I would just like heart sunk so far. He knew he had me. It was pretty fun.
So, I guess this question is for Mike and for Dinesh. Have you guys ever purchased original art with the thought of, I don't want this, I'm getting it so that I can make a trade for something that I do want, because I know my buddy needs this and I want that from him? Do you guys ever like try and flip that way?
The strategy of it. Yeah. I wouldn't say it's necessarily to like,
the point of view,
because these are all one of one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like, if you
buy original art with the intent of doing something with it, it's always a mistake. It's too expensive. It's too rare. I've always regretted that. But what Mike does, and I've started to do now, is if I see something I know Mike will want and it's not too expensive, I'll grab it and I'll be like, hey man, I made sure you didn't lose this. So
got it.
If you want to pay me, great. If not, here you go. That kind of thing. And so the group is really good about helping each other.
Looking out for each other. Yeah, we kind of know what each other collects.
That's cool.
Even in San Diego, I was, Dinesh, get over here. Like, I'm holding this piece for you. Come check it out. I know this is something you've been looking for.
Thank you again for that. That was awesome.
Yeah, my pleasure. The other thing that I will say that's similar to kind of what you laid out is sometimes you'll find art in batches, right? And so sometimes you'll find multiple pages of an issue that it's like, this is rare. This is like gold. And I just happened, like sometimes there's a deal to be made by buying the lot of art rather than a single page. And so sometimes we'll bring it to the group.
Someone won't sell it because they take it all off my hands, or you can't just cherry pick one.
Yeah. So sometimes we'll do that. We'll do like a group buy where other people get in. Sometimes, early on, I think before we had our group, there were situations where I did buy a few pages because I knew that these certain characters like will be desirable. And it's like, okay, I'm going to grab this page because maybe later I can use it. And if not, I'm happy to keep it. But yeah, never like, I'm going to do this to try to flip and get out of it pretty quickly. It's like, if this kind of goes the way I think it will go, this has maybe the ability to get me something else, like keep one and trade the other if I can leverage that later on. But that's hopefully that answers your question.
Well, it does. Yeah, absolutely.
There was,
but it helps when you're attacking it as a team.
Yeah, much more.
Yeah.
Vinny, Mike, and I have about 8 or 9 pages from Marvel Spotlight 5, First Ghost Rider. Yeah. And we were so excited when they came up. The seller wanted to do it just as one lump sum deal, so the 3 of us went in. And that's been great because we would have kept them all, but it's been a couple of years, people come knocking and they go, hey, I really want one. Well, cool, I want that thing you've got. Great. Yeah. Because it's such premium stuff that really unlocks doors. And it's nice to have a couple pages each because then you don't feel bad letting one go if you're getting something else.
Yeah.
So I've been trying to keep track of what I think are cover of the year category books from this year. It's the first year that I've really been diligent about, we see a book on New Comic Book Day or FOC and I go, all right, that's going on cover of the year, list. And we're going to figure it out at the end of the year. And one of the artists that has been on there probably the most amount of times is Dan Panosian. And he put out a recent cover that is probably one of the most beautiful covers I've ever seen. And it's caused me to want to get into this storyline and get really geeked out for this storyline. She just looks amazing, and that is this Wonder Woman cover. And Mike just made me super jealous because he owns it.
Yeah, that's on Dan's desk there. Yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I thought the same thing. So Bryan, my thought on this is the price was sort of right in my wheelhouse where I won't speculate. I don't want to go spend, $10,000 to $20,000 on something that's not proven because there's just too much of that comes through. Kind of like Rob was talking about on his podcast, right? But this cover was priced at like what most modern covers are priced at. And I feel like, okay, if the character takes off, awesome. And I've got a piece of it. If it doesn't, I've got an awesome Wonder Woman cover, right? Yeah. And if I decide to sell later on, I'm pretty sure I can get most of my money out of it and be totally happy that I got to enjoy it for a while.
Yeah, this cover's amazing.
It's cool.
Yeah.
Dan, Mama! Dan has leveled his stuff up in the past few years, man.
Yeah.
We have to work with him at Skybound on his book slots, and he had a couple covers. I was like, these are amazing. And I picked up some other stuff that he's done from other books, but man, the past 2 years, his stuff is just
it's beautiful
right now.
Yeah, it's beautiful. So, and Bryan, we talked earlier about colorist. Look at the colorist on this. Look at the published versus.
Talk about leveling it up. Holy shit!
The tattoos were added later. That's.
And here's another thing that I love about original art. This happens, and both pieces are amazing by themselves too. The colorist adds so much to this, the original artist so much, but then you get to do something great, and you get to put this all together in a badass frame. Amazing. You can do it however you want. You can just frame each one individually, or you can frame just the original art. But I always love to throw some type of image of the book next to it. I always think that's cool, especially with covers. And you
badass if the girl came with it. You know what I mean?
I think it'd be a little bit more than what I paid.
Stand right there, babe.
Yeah. Jesus, man, what a great redesign!
That absolutely phenomenal,
man.
Yeah, thanks. Good lord.
So, do we know who designed this new
fire, man?
That's a great question. Who
we know who did the redesign?
No,
who's the interior artist on the book?
It's hold on.
So Dragota's doing Batman.
It's a newer artist. I'm blanking. Hold on one sec.
It makes me wonder.
I was going to say Bryan Panosian's got to be going down as one of the best artists of the year. I mean, 100%. It has to be. 100%. The work, it's just consistent, and it's just
every cover.
I can't remember a bad Panosian cover this year. I mean, everything he's doing is just top notch.
You know who else is like that to me is Kari Andrews.
Yes.
His stuff has been just out of the park. I mean, his retrofitting of I'm going to take Jim Lee style and do this cover like Jim, or I'm going to take this and do it like Todd. Hayden Sherman, by the way, was the designer of the cover A. Hayden Sherman is the main artist on on that Absolute Wonder Woman. I think that they're doing, like, to me, when I'm reading about this story, it kind of seems like they're trying to make this Wonder Woman similar to like Magic from Marvel. She's got the big sword, raised in hell with demons, kind of some similarities there. So to me, that's kind of what it seems like they're vibing on, which is great.
Yeah.
Magic's one of my favorites. So.
I always loved Elseworlds tales at DC. I was such a big fan of Elseworlds storylines, and I'm such a big fan of What If storylines too. I always think that's a cool part of when a character becomes such a big character that you can start like thinking outside the box with them and tell these really great stories. And I feel like that's what Absolute DC is that what they're doing, and Scott and Josh Williamson are two of the best. I mean, Josh Williamson's probably the best writer in comics. He's going to win Writer of the Year, in my opinion, with a lot of the stuff that he's doing. So, another image that you sent me of new pieces that you bought that are recent, and we talked about him earlier, is David Marquez and the stuff he's doing for X-Men.
This one just came out today.
Yep.
This was released.
Oh, nice.
This is cool. This is Uncanny X-Men 2. And I picked this one up because they're calling it the Outliers. These are the 4 new characters that they introduced on the final splash of issue 1. David Marquez did all of the interiors for issue 1 digitally. And so this is really the first original art, that you can get that's not an artist proof. That's truly like pen and paper.
That's crazy that he does most of his stuff digitally, and then he'll do, does he do all the covers traditional?
I don't know. I mean, I think at least 1 and 2 so far have been traditional, which is smart. I mean, that's the way to do it.
Yeah. I've told a couple artist friends who do digital, I'm like, you at least should do the covers.
Or the big moments. Do the splashes and covers do traditionally. I think they're leaving money on the table if they don't.
That's a great point, because they, if they don't, they leave an opportunity to, because artists, they don't make shit, and this is an opportunity for them to at least get their fair market value, I
was looking at there was all the Stegman interiors for X-Men dropped today, and for the most part they were priced kind of in that $600 to $1,000 range per page, right? Mostly on the 8 to 1,000 page. So if you're looking at 20-ish 22 pages times 8 to 1,000, right? And then you're doing your cover at 5 to 10,000 on top of that, you're making some pretty good money per issue. That's a lot of money that they're leaving on the table by going digitally.
Yeah, hell yeah. All right, next you have some very interesting old school, I shouldn't say old school, but older pieces that are going to blow people away. First, how about this? And you showed me this. Cool. Like I couldn't believe when I saw this. Here's another perfect example of finding that page with the character in it from that book, and Uncanny X-Men 266 and Gambit.
Dude, so it's one of my favorite books of all time. The cover specifically, I know the guy who has the cover. He's kind of a jackass. So I wouldn't.
That's the worst.
The worst.
I like though that Mike, you're branching out, because I thought of you as a first appearance guy, but now you're into second appearances, which is
I'm really into seconds. Sloppy seconds is what I call it. It's the new gallery I've created. Sloppy seconds. No, I just loved. I mean, this is such. You guys know. I don't even need to say anything. I got this actually. I bought it before X-Men 97. I want to say, so it's a couple months that I've had it, and it just like seeing some of those issues, and then seeing Deadpool Wolverine. Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
That's great.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a big one for me. Not cheap, but just right timing. Happened to catch the rep or the dealer who was dropping it that night. Got it within like 15 minutes. Just luck of the draw.
Yeah,
awesome. And with 20 people right behind you trying to get it, right?
Hood.
Yeah.
Get ready for now. It's time for you to be jealous, Hood.
No
J.
way!
Scott
You
Campbell.
picked this up.
Yeah.
Oh my god,
dude! He has right now. If you're a J. Scott Campbell fan, for anyone in the chat, he's got all of those homage covers from his own stuff online right now. They're all available.
Yeah.
They're expensive, but you can also negotiate with him. Just saying, or his rep. She'll answer but I didn't pay what he was asking on this one. Ultimate, this is again one of my favorite characters right now, or storylines. Ultimate Spider-Man has been, to me, like a breath of fresh air for Marvel this year. Kind of gives you a fresh take on Peter. Peter that like I think a lot of us enjoyed. We talked, I think the last time I shared a Tony Daniel cover from the same issue. I like it so much that I bought another cover from it. But again, it's Peter who's happy, right? He's not being kicked around all the time. I think we're all tired of seeing Peter.
And he's a dad. He's a dad too, which is another important thing, man. That's so important with this character. Yeah, and I think that's why a lot of us kind of even for those of us that I'm not a father, you know what I mean, but I still have I have a father. So seeing that issue and with him with his family and like you're talking about, that's a real big, that's a cool moment, man. Especially for a character that you kind of root for him to have that relationship.
Yeah, Uncle Ben, like all the things that you don't get in sort of the mainstream Peter Parker stories you're getting in this. And it's cool. I really just have enjoyed this series. I think it's written brilliantly. Hickman is crushing. Marco's work when Marco's doing the interiors has been just on point, man. Shadow is he's a beast. His stuff's so good.
Agree. And then this is pretty amazing.
Yeah, this is cool. So the last panel there is actually a stat. So if you can't really see it from this image, but basically the art underneath is the left side of that. It's her head.
Yep.
And that She-Hulk is from another page. It's from an earlier page. So they just sort of superimposed them and flipped the left and right.
And this happened a lot back then. They would do stuff like this.
Oh, yeah.
Cut them up, move stuff around all the time. So to me, it's a transformation page. It's She-Hulk 1. This stuff saw a pretty big drop, like comics, right? Like the She-Hulk art, especially after the series, kind of had a big dip, and I felt pretty good about grabbing it at the price I did. It had a really big run up, and I think it's really undervalued. This was one of those things that just fell through the cracks, right? People weren't really paying attention to it because they had seen another page a week before on a different auction site. And so I got really lucky and got into a page that I never thought I would for the price I did.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's cool.
And then another one here.
Yeah, this is cool. So this is sort of Azrael. We got a couple really big sort of Azrael and Quesada collectors in our group. But, again, my first Comic-Con was 1993. I just was like a kid from the sticks, but a family friend who brought us down on his trip to San Diego, and Comic-Con happened to be going on. And so this was right when sort of Azrael came out, right when X-O Manowar Zero came out. Quesada was just the biggest thing in comics. And so I just remember ripping through this issue so much.
Got a full run of Night's Fall right here. Yeah.
Yep. Brilliant.
I'm with you, man. I remember sort of as the Sword of Azrael series, and I thought that he was such a cool character until he put on the cow.
Yeah, I agree.
So Quesada's stuff, I think. What's the deal with Quesada's stuff on the secondary market for his art? I mean, does it hold a big premium? Very desirable, yeah.
Yeah, it's desirable, and it hasn't seen its day yet. I would say it's on the rise.
Not even close. Quesada's work is so special to me. Because that was a time, when you pick up certain books and, things going on in your life, you remember when you picked up that book and when you read it. And, I just love anything Quesada did during this time. It's just phenomenal.
Yeah.
And another dynamic duo, him and Palmiotti, right?
Yeah. A couple things to point out for people who are thinking about getting into art. So in this page, this is going to be a lot less than a normal page, even though it's pretty pricey still. It's less than what a normal page if he was in costume. So there's a couple things that usually will get a premium on a page. An action, like a fight scene, will get a premium. The character in costume typically is what the big bucks are going to fetch. I think that those are two things that this doesn't necessarily have, but it's got Batman and it's got Jean
Paul,
yeah.
That's
Splashes
cool.
also. Splashes,
yeah. So just kind of be aware. Like sometimes if you're looking to just get into something, those are things to consider. Maybe I can get in, if it's a character that's not in costume, but it's still a really key page, right? That happened with X-Men 129 just recently. There was a Byrne Austin page from 129 with Kitty and with White Queen on it, with Emma, and it went a lot less than it should have because neither were really in their costume.
Wow. Yeah. That's crazy. We got Batman, a newer Batman page, huh?
Yeah, this is Ghostmaker. Yeah. So got this from a buddy.
New character.
Who was, I thought the character's design. So like, I love this guy being sort of added to the Batman lore, you know, training with Bruce Wayne growing up. And I think that there's some merit there. Good costume design, good backstory. I felt like this is a cool piece. And this was the first sort of reveal of the character. So I loved it.
Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a really nice piece. And then next, a classic. Speaking
this is cool.
Kitty and the X-Men.
Yeah, this one's fun. This is X-Men 160. So I mentioned before, Magic's one of my favorite characters. I was really on the fence on this one. I reached out to a collector who had this one, and the price was a little bit steeper than I was really wanting to go. But when I was kind of going back through, you know, Ileana's history, she basically shows up once before in Giant Size X-Men as a baby, you know, and it's sort of, they went back and said, oh yeah, that was her. But she's not named, you know, she's just a baby in a back panel. And here she is.
This is her first appearance, really.
Yeah, first full, yeah. And here she's being lured into limbo or hell, you know, you can see it right there. So this kind of kicks off the Magic miniseries, the Magic and Storm miniseries. And then, so aside from just that aspect, that's why I was drawn to the page. For X-Men collectors, you've got Wolverine there. You've got each of the characters sort of doing something that's like specific to that character. And then you got a fastball special, which was so cool, right? Like, I think there's just a lot going on here. It's cool.
This image up top too is beautiful with Storm.
Yeah, rad. Yeah,
man, that's pretty cool to get the character that you really love to get her this piece. Like, this is pretty amazing. Holy cow!
I also love that in that top left-hand corner, you see it says like 1,500. So like at some point, like that's what it sold for at one dealer, and he's like, I'm gonna like, I've got a bunch of pieces where they have like written in there, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's how much it was back then. Like, Jesus.
You should, when Dinesh and I bought the Ultimate Fallout 4 cover and we saw the price written on the back of that, it was like, oh my gosh, this is what Mark Bagley got for his cover versus what it's worth.
Ham sandwich.
Yeah,
beautiful.
A little more than a ham sandwich, but still.
Yeah, and then
I was at a con a week ago in Atlanta, and one of the dealers had a bunch of Bagley pages, and it was like all the surrounding pages in that series: Ultimate Fallout 1, 2, 6, $100 a page.
Wow,
that's pretty cheap, actually.
I got
you bought some, right?
Yeah, I bought them all. Yeah,
I would have too. That shit. In my world, that counts, man.
That's dirt cheap, Vin. I've got some cool ones.
I mean, plus it's Bagley, you know. It's like
$1 a page.
So Mike, this is one I think we talked about at some point. The Hit Monkey page. Did you see that the final splash page sold on eBay a few weeks ago?
Yeah. And it sold for a pretty good chunk of change.
Yes.
It's I mean, I would say other than this, like that image and this image are the two most iconic from that whole run.
Yeah.
But this is right. I don't know if you guys watched Hit Monkey.
Man,
that was a blast.
Yeah,
it was
a lot of fun.
It's some of the most underrated, like, animated stuff I've seen in a long time. Same kind of deal. This one, this was on eBay. Collector's a buddy of mine that we've chatted and done several deals with over the years, and he said, "Hey, I know you got this group. You want to see if anyone's interested at a discounted price?" And then he told me the price. I said, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to buy that." So, for this, it's a Frank Show cover. It's first appearance. It's, the blood splatter's cool. It's fun. Checks a lot of fun stuff for me.
Alex has a great question that I want to ask. He says, how often do you invest $100 in some original art for unknown artist pages? Like, do you ever buy just something that you see and just like, oh, wow, that's
a good question. So here's what I'll say is I don't, because I would rather every time I come across something that's $100, I would just like, I bank that money and I say, I'm saving this and going to buy something that I really care about later on. But I'm gonna make the conscious choice not to spend that money today to buy something better that I care about tomorrow. It's not that there's no value in that. Like maybe you really enjoy the piece. Maybe $100 is the budget. That's totally acceptable, right? I just think that for me, there's a couple rules. I really only want to buy published pieces. I don't do a lot of commission stuff just because I don't think, like you heard Liefeld say the same thing. I don't think there's any value in that stuff.
Yeah, that
It's
was
cool,
surprising. That was it wasn't surprising because it's something that I've known for a while, but to hear an artist say that, like even he said, he was very specific. He said, everybody that was going out there getting commissioned, sketches from their favorite artists should have been buying their original art and not commissioned sketches, because commissioned sketches don't sell for what the original art sells for.
I mean, that was my point with the Jim Lee stuff. Like when his commission prices came out and it's like 20, 30, 40 grand for
buy a published page.
Why wouldn't you just buy a published page?
Yeah, a good page too. I mean, you can get a really good page that, for that price. Maybe not a great Jim Lee, not like top tier.
There's collectors that they only do commissions because they like to have that creative outlet.
Yes,
work with their heroes. That's a big part of it.
Nothing wrong with that. Like, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, because there's plenty. I'm never going to tell someone how to collect or spend their money. Like that's
that's Mike. I appreciate you sharing your playbook, because that's the discipline that we talked about earlier. That this is how I do it, and I can't deviate from that playbook. There's going to be like little bells and whistles that may like distract, but I got to stick to. I'm able to do this because I stick to this playbook.
Yeah. And the reality is, like, there's a handful of times a year where it's like, okay, now I get to make this purchase, right? Something's Killing Children came up. I get to make this purchase because I said no to these things over and over again. I said no. And now I get the piece that I in a heartbeat would have traded all that stuff for, no problem, right? Because I got the thing I actually wanted. So I just like, that's my personal take, is it does take discipline. It's just like going to the comic shop and seeing like 10 variants that all look cool, right? You're like, oh my gosh, these would all be rad. And I know, like even today I went to the comic shop and I'm like, I know I'm going to buy something that's going to sit in a long box. And I'm probably never going to take out again. And that's going to drive me crazy. Like that's a bad financial move. And yet I still did it, right? Because it's scratches that itch for that moment. But as much as you can, like that's just my personal take, is I stick to pieces that I care about, first appearances specifically, and I only buy published stuff. So kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Dinesh, you have some.
I'm the opposite. I buy $100 pages all the time from artists, especially at shows.
Yeah.
Especially if I get to talk to them and I like the art. Published now, I'll just walk around with a stack of stupid pages that I bought, but I love them all. $100. If the number's 100, it makes it easier, because it's hard for original art to be worth less than that.
Yeah, because you got so many of those bills in your wallet anyway. So
hey, I've got
from his dancing the night before.
Real quick, Dinesh,
I heard those stories.
I've got the perfect concept for the next big idea. Right, the next what you can do, and I know what's his name is like, when are you gonna, this is what you got to do next. So you remember the Night at the Roxbury, the movie?
Yeah.
They said we're gonna create the first inside outside nightclub.
Yes.
So, bro, make the first inside outside comic book. So the cover is inside the book. Bro, game over, bro. Game over. I took some time to think about this.
That is really funny.
Inside
really a bad idea, Joe.
comic book.
Okay.
You heard it here first.
Write it down,
baby.
okay? Inside, outside.
Right. The cover's inside. Right? So it's page one, right under.
Hive Comics.
There we go.
James, you owe me, James.
Finally.
There. The first inside outside comic book. Now you got to find a good book to do it with.
The name is really everything. That name is a good name.
Yeah, it is.
No, that's
it
the
is.
name of the book, the Inside Outside comic, right?
But it doesn't
Yeah.
say that on the outside. It says that on the inside. How are people going to know?
Or just put outside on the cover,
Jesus.
and then when you
guys
open the
put out an
book,
invisible
inside.
comic, it's fine.
No,
Less dumb than Invisible Comic. You're right.
It's funny that you guys bring that up, because in the market report that I started looking for tonight, they had one of those Wizard World Young Avengers 9.5s. Do you guys remember those?
I have one. Yeah.
Do you have one, dude? I want one of those so bad, bro. Those are so. But it made me think, like, which one do I want more? Do I want the Wizard 9.5 or do I want the Invisible Bad Idea? Like, which, right? Which one do you want? Because that's the only time I can think of where Wizard kind of has done anything like that promotional wise. Where did you get? I know I've asked you about this before, but where did that idea come from?
We tried to do a Warhol. We tried to say when art becomes commerce, commerce must become art. And people were slabbing books and not reading them. And there's the whole commentary about books are just their covers now. So we thought, why don't we just slab air? Went to CGC and they said, love this idea. They came back to us, the machine won't just slab air, so it doesn't work. And I said, no, we're not dropping this. Hold on. And we ran down and brought some acetate and folded it and cut it and stapled it and sent them 36 copies. And they're like, you guys are idiots. Fine, we'll do it. I think they really regret it at this point.
I think so too. But it's hilarious. History right there.
Yeah. But they exist.
It's awesome.
I saw one for sale in Oregon. Portland, Oregon has one. Yeah, it's there's a shop up there that has one.
Oh my
god! When you see them in person, they're really, really fucking amazing.
They're awesome. So funny.
Do they
They've got
look?
the staples, right? You can see the staples.
You can see the staples.
Just little staples in there. It's amazing.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That is
the outline.
cool. Yeah.
You can see the staples, and they let me tell them to write on the label first. Disappearance in comics.
I remember when you guys did that, and like nobody understood, and there's like, but like
now
everybody talked about it, and that's the fucking point. That is the point. Everybody.
No, but when you describe it like Warhol, and and life imitates art, and like. And just your whole concept for it, like that makes sense. Like, so like had the approach been like, hey, this is why we're doing that, instead of just boom, people took it as like, oh, you're offending the comics, and like you're like making making fun of us. Yeah. But when you present it like that, it's art, then that takes on.
We talked about that.
That's another layer right there.
Our feeling was, if we went out and said that, people would be like, "Oh, that's clever," and then moved on with their day.
Gotcha.
If we don't say that, then people yell at us for 3 years, and they talk about it.
Yeah, it's classic.
I got.
Well, did you grab your box of goodies, man?
With me?
Yeah,
I want to see it. Yeah.
I grabbed a few things that were lying around, and I do have a box I can open, but I have like 4 things that I picked up recently that I haven't really put away yet. I picked this up recently.
Oh, it's awesome.
Steve Epting cover.
Oh wow!
Holy shit, dude!
Dude.
Yeah,
wow. That's
Look,
amazing.
it's the Winter Soldier, right? It's just Bucky, but the other cover has the Winter Soldier, but it's just a great cover. Epting is so good.
Yeah,
I got that recently, and then I got these 2 as well, which I'm really happy about. Page from 362.
Oh my god!
Wow, I haven't seen that one. That's gorgeous.
We got a Carnage over there.
Yeah, that's cool.
And then Carnage for the Baby, just Bagley 90s Carnage, and then this is also from 362 with Venom.
Oh wow!
Dinesh? Where'd you grab these? Were these at a show?
No, a collector had them, and like all 3 of these so far, a collector had them. And I just reached out and I said, this is amazing. And then like a year later, he was like, you know what? I need some money. Would you reached out and said, it's amazing. Are you interested? They made a fair offer and I picked it up. This I did get at a show though, which was not the best transaction.
See, that sounds expensive. Just the wrap.
I was very happy to pay the price I paid for this. I was surprised that it existed. I was surprised at what it was. I picked this up at San Diego Comic-Con. It's a page from Mad Magazine, number one.
Good Lord.
Big Leg is now. It's Big Leg's turn to be jealous this episode.
Oh my God,
Dude, that's awesome.
It's a Kurtzman page as well.
Oh wow,
Right?
that's amazing.
That amazing face over here, this one here, like all of it.
Yeah.
And then I love this. This
Yeah,
is
the
love lettering. The
yeah.
tone.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's got this on the back. I couldn't help it.
Oh
William
yeah.
M.
Wow.
Gaines family.
Gaines. Wow.
Gaines
Super
file
nice
copy.
people. I'm producing an adaptation of Weird Fantasy as a TV show with them. They're super nice people. So anytime I see something EC, I get very excited. And then I think I know what this is. It's a big box. I've been meaning to open it. It's 90s. It should be three pieces in here. Packed like.
Oh damn foam peanuts. I hate those things.
Yeah, dude. Like you can get the same effect with bubble wrap, dude. Like that's that's a negative feedback right there, bro. I mean, that's breaking the law with those peanuts, dude. You know, like how many times I gotten in trouble with my wife for those fucking peanuts, dude? Like, I hate that shit.
Hey, at least did you
Sorry,
see
Clutch.
It's all right, man. My fault.
I'm just
Clutch? Did you see the after you show? Oh wow,
That's the first one.
Oh,
my
wow.
God.
Oh, that's killer.
Oh,
Hold
dude.
on.
I'm trying to get the glare off. They're
Oh.
just
Yeah.
Marvel Master. I love that first series. So Jessica, Marvel Masterpiece Bullseye. That's one. And
Oh,
that's the
wow.
Jeez.
Mama.
Yes.
second. In these frames, the horrible thing about this is they were all sold in these frames, so you know that they were single owner. But I've opened these frames up, and there's tons of art on the borders. But some a-hole, what do you call it? Pasted them. There's a dry
instead of professionally matting them.
Yeah, so they dry mat them. You can get it restored.
Take it to a restorer.
Yeah, I've got one.
Just to get them out. Like they'll get them out for you.
And then this is my favorite one of the three. It looks like it's in a different frame.
Namor.
name.
That's cool.
Which
Wow. That's crazy. I would think that the originals would have been so much bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
he did one a day, so I think he had to do them at this size in order to get the set done. They gave him something like 95 days. He had to do one a day.
Wow.
And the compositions are beautiful, the renderings beautiful, the colors beautiful.
Did you hear about
That's incredible.
did you hear about the shit they pulled on him recently?
No, what they do?
They pissed him off because they reprinted a bunch of his art on new cards and didn't pay him for it.
That's really
And they were larger cards, right? They were
Big
like 5x7s
cards.
or something.
Yeah, 5x7s. Yeah, and
that's not
he said he won't sign any of them just so fans know. You know, he's not being a jerk. But
Wow.
yeah.
That's
And-
awful.
And that I have one real quick question. We're gonna go to Vinny. Vinny's got some pickups too, but one of the questions that I forgot to ask that kind of along those lines is, are there artists out there that are really hard to find their original art because of whatever reason? You know, that could be a reason that they just got pissed and they decided not to sell any more art or not to give any of it away, or because they've passed. Even the guys that haven't passed. What are some of the guys that it's like really hard to find their stuff?
David Aha doesn't sell his art anymore. He gifts occasionally. He'll gift a page to collaborators, but he doesn't sell it because I think he knows who he is and the value of his work coming up. Dougie Braithwaite, rarely, I don't think he sells anymore. He had a bad experience with a collaborator, and I think they went to split the art, and he didn't get any of his share. So now I think he just keeps it all. Those are two that come to mind. I'm sure others.
Yeah, I mean, classics too. Simonson, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they're guys who just kept most of their stuff, and like he's going to donate that, I think, to a museum or is he doing it to the college?
Is he really?
I think so, but I think he's kept almost all of his stuff, and so, I mean, his stuff, anything that's come out goes for tremendous money. Same with like all the Calvin and Hobbes stuff, same idea, right? that stuff's just not out there. And so anytime a piece comes up, it's massive.
Because Wanderson donated also to his alma mater.
Yeah, is it Ohio?
Something
I
like
think
that.
so.
But then the pieces that are out there are gifted, right?
Yeah.
During his lifetime, they were gifted.
Yep.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, but Simonson's the biggie, I think, for that generation before us. You just can't get any of his stuff.
Yeah, I love hearing that. All right, Vinny, you're up, brother.
Cool. I just have a few things from the last, few months to a year. But this one I really liked. I got this from somebody actually who was in the group. The Spider-Man Miles Morales number 13 cover. So it's
Nice.
for Billy Morales.
Yep. That's a
With
great
the logo
cover.
being on.
That logo is awesome.
Yeah, the logos. I just love how busy the cover is. It's
Yeah, that's cool.
awesome. That's one. I thought this was kind of cool. I bought a page from New Warriors #1 Bagley.
Oh, dang.
Yeah, I think it was the first page. Is it, or maybe it's a few pages in? But yeah, I thought that was pretty cool.
Patrick Reed from Semmel, the guy who does all the curating for the Marvel exhibits, is a massive New Warriors fan.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Nice. This is just one page, but I got a bunch of pages from Bloodline #1.
Yeah.
It's not the first appearance of the character, but I think it was the Free Comic Book Day was the first appearance, but I got a bunch of pages from this as well.
Great character.
There's only 4 pages of that first appearance too.
Yeah.
Great character.
This one I got last year, but this one was a fun one. It was kind of going back to other kinds of original art. This is the cover for Gunna's album Gift and the Curse. That was
That's beautiful.
Awesome. Oh yeah, that's
it was
great.
it was rated the #1 rap album of last year. So
Wow.
Yeah. So this
That's
is by
epic,
an artist, local artist in Atlanta named Paper Frank. And
Did you go search out? Did you
what's that?
search out other art from him, because that's badass, dude?
Yeah, I mean he's a friend. I buy all. It's a joke because I buy all his art. I buy everything, and then he's like, man, you buy all the good pieces. This one I literally bought this years ago. I thought this would be funny because Dinesh was on, but I just found this recently.
It's so cool.
EDIAC cover by Louis LaRosa. It's so awesome.
Oh wow, that's gorgeous.
Yeah, so
He's a talent.
That's all I got for today.
Not bad, dude.
Dude, nice crabs, man.
Yeah. I by the way, speaking of bad idea stuff, I didn't really get a chance to talk to you too much about it, but dude, the Planet Death stuff is
so good.
Unfucking believable. Oh my god, dude.
It looks so good.
I couldn't believe it.
The roster of people that have reached out to us that want to support, we don't do variants. We might do it for this book because we've had massive. Joe Quesada did a triptych. He said, I want to do a cover for this book. I said, yeah, of course, please. And then he came back and he's looking at the art, and he came back an email and he's got the PDF and he said, to match Tomas, I want to do a wraparound. I was like, please. And he sends the layout and he goes, I got carried away. It's a wraparound gatefold. It's in. I can't show you. It's in.
Yeah, keep going.
But I think we'll print it for New York Comic Con. It's meant to be a cover, but it's so awesome. I think we'll just include it as a pull-out poster in the first issue.
Hell
so
yes.
we'll use that as a convention exclusive.
That's a great.
Last time someone did that pull-out poster. I remember Spidey 365 did that, and
those are so cool. I loved them.
I would rather have a pull-out poster than a gatefold wraparound. You know what I mean? Or not than a wraparound. I'd rather have a pull-out poster or a gatefold that opens up like X-Men. Instead of having a connecting or a wraparound, I want that to be able to pull that out because I want to put up the art. You know what I mean? I'll buy extra copies and put that up on my wall. Rather than
I wish I could show it to you guys.
I got some pickups.
Yeah,
let's see it.
Let's go.
Oh
So,
yeah, this is crazy. Oh my god, this is crazy.
So this guy, this is the submission that he gave me these books.
Are you pressing these?
Press. Yeah, cleaning and pressing.
Oh my god,
you guys are gonna trip.
Whoa,
X-Men.
Wow.
Oh,
X-Men 2.
Well,
X-Men 3.
Still
Those are
run?
like some really nice copies.
Yeah, they look nice.
Oh.
Wait till I'm done. Oh, I'm just playing. X-Men 4.
Giants.
God, man, this one's gonna be good.
Looks like a 99 to me.
Maybe it'll be 99. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just by the looks of it, like it looks like a 7. I was looking at it earlier, so, but we'll look at this one.
Oh, beautiful. It's like all the fucking classics, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, awesome.
So, like this one.
I love
Yeah.
that.
This one is signed by Stan Lee inside the.
Oh, I love
Even
that.
better. Oh,
Yeah, just some spine issues there. I was talking shit to my buddy Steve where I picked it up at his shop because I bought this one from him and it's like beautiful. Ghost Rider.
Nice.
Nice.
love it.
Great cover.
And
That's
first
what he
appearance
sent.
of Wolverine.
That's what he sent it to you in that box too. Oh, yeah.
Oof.
Beautiful.
Nice.
This one. And of course, I got to check for resto on all of these too.
I got to give you a lot of respect for. I love that post you put out where you talked about how one of the most important jobs of pressers that never gets talked about is pre-screening and how you pre-screen books and how important that is.
I mean, you've got to. I mean, you owe it to your client to. Number one, your job is to get them the best grade possible, but your job is also to be transparent and don't bullshit them. If this is a book that has restoration or the grade could go down just because of a press that could create some color breaks, I mean, that's all in play. And if you're not transparent with your client, like, good luck, because they won't come back.
I have the worst luck with restoration. I actually hate buying raw books now. It's like every time I can buy like a
terrible luck.
good raw book, like it's something. I just bought a a 4-color 16 recently, resto. Got it back. The guy was like, "No resto." Like, it's great. And then my worst book that I've ever bought that had restoration doesn't make any sense. Preacher #1. Why would you have restoration on this book?
So crazy.
Because like when you've got a book and it's worth a certain amount of money, there's people that will like take ink or something and they think they can get away with it and they can't. Because CGC, CBCS has, they've been in the news as far as like Ben Gate and all that, but they have lights, they have magnification, they tested with the blue light. I mean, that you can see if you have that equipment at the house like I do, I look at a book the same way CGC is. So there's no reason for me not to see something that they're gonna see. Like it's go, man, I didn't see that. Well, shame on you. It was like, but a lot of it takes time. Like this submission right here, I said, like, give me about a month if you want these books at the best possible. Like, you can't get rushed in this. Like, so that's where I'm straight up with people. Like, what's your turnaround time? Well, like, I'm not McDonald's. It's like, I mean, that's the guy down the street. That's the guy who took everybody's money and took their books. That's what you're like with me. That's why I don't have a website. That's why I just like do clients and people that I know, because I don't want to get commercial in all this. I want to just, do the best possible job that I can do. And that's it. I don't want to deviate from that. Almost like the same way Mike's got his set of rules that I'm going to stick to this. I'm not going to buy those books because I'm just concentrating on this. It's much like me. I'm just going to stick to this plan that I've done for the last 14 years in pressing books, that I only have I'm like a barber. I've got clients,
Yeah.
and that's it. You
Yep.
know, I don't want to like put a website, hey, and everybody cut, you know, and because there's some shady people out there, you know, and I don't want to be pressing people that I don't know, and they'll say, oh, Joe tore my book in half. You know, it's just
Yeah,
like,
your reputation
get out of here, man.
is a big deal, man, and people don't realize
Oh.
that how
Here-
important that is.
Conan, look at the shitty books there. You know,
Yeah,
it's just
terrible. Yeah,
That's just horrible.
This was
love
horrible.
Neil Adams.
Look
Beautiful.
at that. And you know what's bad? The guy,
Is that a Daredevil one?
no, this is Daredevil 3.
Oh, okay.
This is Daredevil 4. Oh, this one's a nice one. I'm gonna press the shit out of this. It's big time spine roll on this. This is FF10. This is FF28. Of course, Warlock.
Yeah,
And then this is a beautiful cover right here.
yeah. I love those Marvel. What do they call those? Those frame Marvel covers.
Team up.
Your frames.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah. The picture frame.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love
they
those.
did this 72, 73 is when they were doing that. This one, number 5, Purdy.
Amazing, dude. I love that
Those are great.
X-Men. Yeah.
Got
The
nice
name
road
on
Big
there.
collection, raw key.
Yeah, this is a great. Like, this is awesome. When you posted that video earlier, I was like, "Holy smokes, Joe!" Jeez.
Yeah, dude. Like, but it's I don't go goo goo gaga. It's just like I just concentrate on the book, and I don't go, oh my god, this is worth X amount, and this I don't, because I've been doing this for so long, you know, and like it's just my responsibility. Concentrating on is beating the graders and getting the best possible grade. That's my mindset. There's really no competition, but if I create that competition in my head, I'll be laser focused, and I'll find pressable defects that can probably determine if a book's going to be worth $500 or $1,000. You
Yep.
know,
Yep. Shout out to Wilbert. He says, Red Hood is the presser to the stars. One of the best. On the $9.99 super chat. Thank you
that's
so
one
much,
of my
brother.
best clients right there.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wilbert.
There was one more thing that I wanted, and I just fucking cannabis brained it. That I was going to ask you guys, and I can't.
I press
remember.
books for Clutch too.
You did.
Yeah, yeah.
Still waiting for those grades. I think CGC was holding them while they get their house in order.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I did have a pickup, Brian.
Oh yeah,
It's-
yeah.
We mentioned Mike mentioned Magic the Gathering art, and I picked up a really cool little sketch piece here. This is from
Whoa,
Nice.
love
it's
that.
from
Dude.
like Scott Gustafson, who did the this beautiful painting that's in the Bloomborough package. It's in the bundle, but it's a really cool painting. But he put up some of his prelims for the characters, and this is Liliana, who's a really big character in the Magic world, but it's her as a squirrel, which is pretty fun. So
That's awesome.
That's gorgeous.
Beautiful piece.
yeah, I thought it was really sweet. Like he put up all the different character studies. He has a lot of stuff still on the site, but that one was like I had to snap that one up.
I
Hey,
love
you know what I totally forgot? Brian needs to go get those other packs from downstairs,
I
man.
do. I need to go grab them.
Sheesh.
Dinesh just asked who farted in the back chat. He doesn't realize that.
Someone farted, man.
Well, it's not me, I promise. I laughed too hard when I heard that.
I know it wasn't you, and I know it wasn't Vinny, because the three of us are laughing. It's one of these other three fuckers.
I've been on mute, man.
I you know,
We narrowed it down to two. It's Brian. It was you, wasn't it? Look at you. You thought we couldn't catch you. That's why you asked the question. You tried to get away with it.
Yep. Hostess with the mostest.
Hey, you know what's a good tool? Like everybody keeps saying,
Art?
get just a regular magnifying glass with some
Oh, that's
LEDs. You'd be blown away how good that helps you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Doing it on the fly.
So Dinesh, have you ever heard the story about Big Leg when Big Leg farted on camera and he muted he thought he muted himself, but
Oh gosh.
You ought to play that, Brian. I know you got
Did
that.
you have that
Oh my
clip?
gosh.
That's
Yeah.
so amazing.
yeah, let me find that clip. So
Oh my
so
gosh.
so basically
gotta see this.
Cameo appearance, even when he's not here.
I would
So-
love to.
so basically because of
right
that,
now.
whenever somebody gives a super chat around here, So anyways, let me find this. This is one of the most classic moments in history of like,
Bro, that's in the Hall of Fame, dude. The Hall of Fame of odds.
That's the gold medal right there, man.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
yeah, dude. It was back in the time period of it was back in the time period of Flipside, and when Flipside was just rocking and freaking
That was on a Monday night, right?
yeah, it was
Y'all used-
here it is. Here we go. I have it as Sean's fart. All right.
Are you guys doing pick?
All right, here we go. So shout out to my boys over at Flipside, still putting in great work over there. This is an old school clip from the Flipside days. Here we go.
Pickups.
We are doing pickups. Do you have
All right.
pickups, Z? Do you want to start?
I'm gonna stop my camera. I'm gonna turn around, and just grab.
All right.
some
I'll let Sean grab some. I'll keep us occupied a few minutes.
All right. I know, but I like the Moon Knight like this on the title.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, no means I am like. I mean, no means I am like complaining, but very happy for it.
That's fucking wonderful.
Watch my I catch it and nobody else catches it, but John thinks I'm laughing at him. So watch this. This is funny.
Another.
Did you guys not hear that?
This goes off the whale.
No, dude, that was that.
Hey, who let Simon in this motherfucker?
Dude.
Oh my gosh.
Everything was
That's all
on
time.
camera.
So let's play the part one more time.
Yes, please.
I mean, no. I mean, no. I mean, no. I mean, no means I am like complaining, but
So
that is
he
not a dry fart. That is not a dry fart.
that was a super dad fart, man. It was and
Working in the yard, mowing the lawn.
Like I'm the king of the castle. I'm the king of this castle.
And Sean was the best, man. He muted himself to go fart, and he forgot to hit mute, but he took his camera off. Oh my god, good
Bro,
shit, you guys.
That was like your laugh is so contagious, Brian. Like, bro, when I watch that and I just see I start laughing. It's one of those things that you could put in the background of Brian laughing. It would just like make you crack up, man.
Yeah,
gosh,
dude.
that hurts.
Again, this is why I love doing this content, you guys. This is why I love doing this show and this channel and hanging out with these guys and fun moments like that. I hope that everybody that watches tonight got some really good information. We're going to continue doing these shows. Anytime that we can get all of these guys together and do these shows, we're going to do it. And there's always great auctions that show up. And thank you to Alex for the $5 super chat. He says, "Great show, all."
He sent that while you were playing the fart clip.
That's amazing.
Every episode, play that.
$5 a fart.
Money.
Oh, we do.
Yeah. So, oh my God, good shit. So you guys, I'm going to go through a quick market report, but you guys are good to bounce anytime. Just throw up the deuces. Again, I want to thank all you guys for hanging out and doing this. This was a lot of fun. And yeah, great.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you, man. Thanks for doing this.
Yeah.
Brian, and to any of your crew, man, anytime you guys need help with art, the question was in the chat, how do we get started? You know how to get a hold of us, man. I'm happy to get on a phone and chat through my strategy. I tried to post some Instagram stuff. It didn't post very well, so sorry about the formating. But
well, you send me anything that you want, and I'll put it on the page. If you guys don't know, Mike. A lot of people don't know this, but Mike's one of the OGs when it comes to this stuff. He is known for his back in the day putting together one of the greatest speculation lists in comic books, and that is the OG price variant, right? That is probably one of the greatest lists that is out there. So the newsstand variant list, and I don't think there's many people that realize that. So and before we end, I do want to ask you one thing. When is the latest Marvel newsstand variant?
Good question.
It's 2011, 2012. I forget what the very last one was, but it's right around Kamala's first.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that? Captain Marvel 14?
Yep.
14.
Yep.
Yeah, it's right there. You had like this weird 2-year period too where they still did newsstand. So newsstand distribution basically cut out around 2011. And then I think it's 2011 and 2012 that there was a little bit of overlap with Books A Million and Barnes & Noble. Just those two, I think, were the last to have newsstand distribution. So that's why things like Captain Marvel 14, like Kamala's, is so rare, because you could only get it at one of those two places, basically.
Yeah. Again, rarity. It's always it's a king, and it's a king in these collectible worlds. So, all right. Speaking about rarity, we're going to run through a market report really quick, you guys. And there was some interesting stuff that came out this week that you don't usually see very. But before we do that, I want to show Dinesh something that I've been talking to him about for a while. And dude, I finally found it. Are you ready for this? So I think might have been the last time that we had the OA show. We talked, I think it was that we were talking about promo books, and how my very first comic I ever got was a promo book from Campbell Soup that my dad gave me when Herb Trimpe did a Campbell Soup book. And you said that one of the very first Valiant books was a Campbell Soup book, right? And I went, man, you got to tell me what it is. He said, it's a SpaghettiOs book. And I said, dude, I know I have one of those.
You found it.
I found it, bro. Nice. Look at that. Isn't that amazing, dude? So again, you guys, it's always important to remember where your origin is, and mine was with being a Campbell Soup kid.
Look how cool that looks, bro. I still love SpaghettiOs, bro. With the meatballs.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll eat a whole big can like that by myself, dude, because I'm a fat pig, dude. Like it's, dude, and the raviolis too, man. Now I'm hungry.
Special collector's edition. I haven't.
Right?
I haven't.
It's the paper's an uncoated newsprint. It's really cool.
Wow, dude. And this one is really nice. I'm surprised that it kept that quality. So a beautiful
what year
piece
did that
of book.
come out? What, 92, 91?
Yeah, it would have been around then. Maybe even 90.
It's got Where's Waldo?
89, 90, because Magnus launched in 91, right? So it's pre that. It's pre the superheroes.
I love that, man. I love that. Again, synchronicity. That's the way this works. All right, let's get into some market report stuff. Starting off with some DC Universe variants. Some really high-priced DC Universe variants. Nightwing #1 is one of my all-time favorite books. I remember when that book came out, being in the comic book store and buying it off the comic book store rack, the new issue rack, thinking how cool that was, how badass Dick Grayson looked. And then when I found out that there was a DC Universe variant, I always looking for that book, and it is so hard to find. And here's a raw copy sold for almost $300. So, those DC Universe variants, Big Clutch. Cool. Yeah, Clutch showed us an unopened pack of something similar, the Batman Adventures 12 unopened pack that they would come in, but these came in that same type of package where they were either doubled up or they'd be singled up in with a little border around them, and they're rare to find, and a lot of DC Universe collectors will try to find the unopened ones, but this one blew me away. Superman Man of Steel #20, a DC Universe variant, sold for $1,224.
Wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, what happened there? That's a big number for DC.
That's raw, too. That's crazy.
There's certain DC Universe variants that are so rare that people are still finding out about them, that they don't...
Dude, there's ticks on that book, too, man.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, is this one of the ones they didn't know was a DC universe? It just popped up for the
It
first
could have
time?
been. That's a great one of the things that I've always wanted to do was try and put together like the people that know the most about those DC Universe variants and get them and try and figure out some of the ones that they still don't know about. So it's crazy. It's nuts. And then another great Raw book that sold this week that is one of my favorites, and I'm glad that we're able to talk about this with everybody still here. Dale Keown and Incredible Hulk number 377, iconic. What about Dale Keown's original art? Do you see his art very often?
It's out there. Yeah, it's not as maybe widespread as some of the other guys, but it's out there.
His Hulk and Pit stuff especially is
very.
I would love
really cool too.
Yeah, get some
He's
of that
so
original stuff. Beautiful. I love that book. I love that cover. Such an iconic piece of art.
A buddy of ours has that cover.
Yeah, I was going to say, who has?
I don't think he wants to say, but
no, it's okay.
It was a page from. It's a page from this book. This is a nothing page, and on the back is a very pencil sketch outline of this cover.
Wow.
And he bought it as it's probably like the guy the cover was working it out, Keown's working it out and trying to figure it out. And when he got it, I was with him, and we were looking at it. We're like, this is not a sketch, dude. This is identical, exactly the pose. And we lightboxed it, and it's completely accurate. There's no way he would have redrawn it, and it would have been that accurate.
Wow.
So he's got the cover because that's all they would have needed. It's just a little bit of it's a little bit of rendering on the top, and then it's the outline.
Maybe that's why. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because it was just on the back of one of the interior pages.
Wow. And that's another thing that happens a lot with original art is art on the back of pages and the back of covers. Yeah. Artists will do that as a trick a lot. If they're having a problem drawing something a certain way, they'll flip it and draw it, and it'll give them a little help. But they'll always practice on backs of pages too. So
I sold Vinny. I think I sold you this page, right, Vinny? I sold Vinny a page, a Spidey page from Amazing, Todd McFarlane Spidey page. And on the back, Todd had drawn a lovingly rendered giant piece of shit.
Steaming pile of shit, yeah.
Flies and
I got it. I'll grab it.
You have it? Oh, please. It's wonderful.
He drew a pile of shit.
Just a big poop. Just a
Dude,
big.
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That's great, dude. All right. Yeah. Moving on, we have one of the all-time classic independent books of the 90s, Bone #1. Even in lower grade, 8.5, 9.0, 8.0, it still sells for a lot. Here's an 8.5 of the first print, sold for $1,225. So, classic. Do you ever see Bone art from Jeff Smith out there?
I was just thinking you don't.
I don't actually.
I bet he's got it all.
Yeah.
He might.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I'm going to check.
Conan #24, which surprises me. What is that? Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Man, you weren't lying. It's a steaming pile of shit.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Did you blow that up?
Yeah, hold on. Let me get rid of this stuff.
So good.
Dude, that's great, man.
So what does this say? Any particular reason why? Was it just the mood he was in, or
just probably? I don't know. He probably a lot of them used to be on the phone when they were drawing. And so he probably flipped it over, was on the phone. He was just doodling.
Yep. Got it. Yep.
That's awesome.
Conan 24 and a 9.8 first cover of Red Sonja, right? She first appears in 23, and this surprised me being 9.8 of this sells for $1,725. It's not even her first appearance, it's just her first cover.
Yeah.
Tough book.
Yeah, a lot of these bronze though, like they're getting scooped up and they're getting harder to find in high grade, and like 9.8s they're starting to disappear. People are hanging on to them, man.
Yeah. Yep. Somebody who went nuclear this year, the last year and a half, is Dave Stevens books, and again, how rare is Dave Stevens art in the original art world?
Some of the big pieces are out there. They're all in collections they're not going to come out of. They're worth quite a bit of money, but a lot of it is with his family still, and they display it often at the San Diego Comic-Con Museum. But they have a lot of his big pieces. They have the entire issue 2, the first appearance of Rocketeer, Star Slayer 2. They've got the entire story. It's like 10, 12-page story plus the cover.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
The back cover, I think.
Yeah, back cover. You're right. Yep. That's cool. Here's a Star Slayer 3 signed by Dave Stevens. Raw, sold for almost $600, $589. Yeah. Just beautiful stuff. Next, one of my all-time favorite books that a lot of people don't talk about, it's very underrated, is Daredevil 16. First time that Romita ever did Spider-Man. And it's starting to get a little bit of love on the secondary market. Here's an 8.5 sold for $750. But yeah, you guys know my creator first love, and there's a couple creator firsts here on this page. But
that's it. That's a great buy, and that's honestly very cheap.
Yes,
like that is somebody got for under $1,000. Like,
yeah, yep, very underrated book. And then this is interesting. Speaking about prelim stuff, this is the Hulk magazine from the UK, number 13, the prelim for the cover. And this issue has in the interior the very first Bill Sienkiewicz work in it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and he also did early Moon Knight stuff in that too. So
that's awesome. Earl Norm's one of those guys, like we're talking about packaging art, did a lot of like, I think He-Man stuff back in the day, like a lot of the He-Man paintings and stuff. Like it's really cool. Like that stuff doesn't ever pop up.
Beautiful painted stuff.
A lot of his other magazine covers do from time to time that are cool.
Yeah, we saw a few G.I. Joe covers or the card art, but it's very, very rare.
Yeah. Our buddy Nate, who's on the channel a lot, he's a big G.I. Joe fan, and he just picked up the original production art for the Snow Serpent G.I. Joe. The design, original art, all that stuff, the original packaging art. It was beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And that's such a great collecting niche. Here, speaking of original art, Brian Bolland, original cover, Wonder Woman cover, issue 87, sold for $2,100. Nice. So pretty amazing for a Brian Bolland piece to be.
That feels very cheap.
Yeah, very cheap.
It looks like a layout.
It's in pencil, so yeah, it
he
could
does
be.
very tight layouts though.
Yeah.
I wonder if the title is wrong, but the bidder's new. That's why it's so low. Because that's an original pencil cover. You're adding a 0 to that, I think.
Yeah, that's what I would expect. That it would be way more than that. But it's beautiful stuff. Speaking of G.I. Joe stuff, this is G.I. Joe pencil by numbers from back in the day from 1983. Yep, right? We all remember these little pencil by numbers sets.
Gosh,
yeah,
I love that. Yeah.
An original OG from 1983, still unused in the box. The box is there, sold for $318. And that's just pure nostalgia. Pure nostalgia. A couple Mark Jewelers that are really nice. A 9.2 G.I. Joe 21. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Then,
bro, how does it go for that cheap?
Yes. Yeah.
That's
what I'm talking
about.
about.
Somebody tackle him. Don't let your book go for that. Bro. Newsstand, Mark Jewelers.
Yeah.
Silent issue. Yeah. Still 9.2 with potential of getting a bump. Like, dude.
Yeah.
I know. I love Mark Jeweler stuff.
Yeah, and then of course the Spectacular 101 is an iconic
that
cover
book
too.
Keeps climbing.
Yes,
that book right there.
And a 9.6 Mark Jewelers, which a 9.8 in that's a tough book. Period.
Yeah. All that black, man. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Next we've got a classic. Here we go.
Love that.
Yeah, of course you do. I wonder why. Edge of Spider-Verse number 2, the Greg Land 1 in 25. First appearance of Spider-Gwen, the one of the original iconic variants, and a 9.8 is still selling for a lot of money, $3,600, and a 9.8 for this Greg Land piece.
I mean, there's a decent amount of that book in 9.8 too, which is crazy. So it just shows the popularity of that character, which is great.
This character is going to be such a monster. Every kid under 8 years old knows Spider-Gwen before they know Iron Man.
Yes,
dude, 100%. And honestly,
my daughter, her last birthday was a Spidey Gwen birthday party.
Oh, I love that.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I still think though, guys, like, I mean, this is just my own sort of prediction, but I still think Cindy Moon, even though they canceled the Silk show, is going to be very big because of what they did, the way they left off the Miles Morales video game in Sony. she shows up at the very end of that. And so
She's a great character.
I think they got plans for her, and that's really down right now. So there's your next By the Dip.
Yeah,
I think that's a good one.
Amen. 2 signed captains. You got the OG and Shatner, a Star Trek photo variant from Star Trek Annual #1 in 2023, and then the photo variant from Boldly Go #10. And I'm really surprised that the Shatner sells for less than the Chris Pine.
I know.
Yeah, but Chris Pine's dad was the captain on Chips.
Really?
Yeah, his dad was the captain.
Yeah.
That just now popped in my head.
That's the first TV show I ever actually remember seeing. I had a little Chips bike, as a kid.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, these photo variant signature books can really give you a nice little come up, but then you can take a bath on some of them too. So be careful.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Next, a classic, one of my all-time favorite covers that I'm gonna own one day. This cover of Power Comics #4, it reminds me of being a teenager. I spent a lot of my teenage years in tattoo parlors. All my friends were tattoo artists, and this, I instantly see that eagle and I think of Tattoo Flash in a big way. The colors on it, the blue and yellow and the red background, just beautiful. It's one of my all-time favorite LB Cole covers, and to pick one up in a decent, it's $2.25, but it is an LB Cole and it's a classic for $532. Seems like a great deal to me. So, and here's that book, Young Avengers #1, the 9.5, $1,000.
Wow, awesome!
Right?
So stupid, so awesome.
It is awesome.
They're so fun. I just love that people are cracking them for 9.8s, but it's so fun.
Yeah. Why would you ever crack that book? That is so stupid. You ruin everything about it.
Yeah.
People thought like a 9.8's better than a 9.5,
It's so dumb.
I have a raw one that I picked up, and I was so mad when I saw it. It was like, Jesus. How many of them did they make? Do we know?
They're numbered, yeah. If you look on...
is it 3,000 or 2,000? Something like that, right?
They're all numbered. Each one is individually numbered.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's 2,000.
Oh, man. That's so cool.
Let's see.
Yeah. Moving on, we have a rare double cover of Star Wars #3. Beautiful condition.
285 copies.
Wow.
It's only 285 copies, which means much less now because they've been cracked.
Yep.
Yeah.
Many have been cracked. Yeah.
And CGC won't reholster them.
Yeah.
So if your slab gets cracked, like damaged, they won't reholster it.
Wow.
Oh, reholster the Invisible comic. Probably not.
We need to regrade this. We're going to try to get a bump on it, please.
Yeah. I sold 2 double cover this week. I sold a 9.4 Thundercats 1 double cover for $300. So
That's
double
fun.
covers, yeah, cool books. Next we have some great signed books. Hood, I'm so glad you're here for this, but we'll get to it in a second. Superior Spider-Man #16. I didn't know about this book. I've never seen this cover. It's a Stan Lee cover where they did a Stan as Spider-Man, and this is a cool book to get signed by Stan Lee. There's not very many books I'd like to get, that's signed by Stan Lee, but one that he's on, like it's actually him on there, is the reason why I'd get one, and this one I've never seen, so pretty cool. And then another killer promo book that I need to find one too. Avengers X-Men #12, the New York Giants Super Bowl champions cover that they did specially, custom Marvel edition, a 9.6 signed by Stan Lee, sold for $317. And then here you go, Hood. Batman Superman World's Finest, signed by Sasha Calais.
Mama!
Yeah, that's a great book, man. That's right up your alley. You got to find one of those.
Bro, I'd be the first one in line to see the Supergirl movie with Sasha Calais, man.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yeah, she beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Next, Another classic promo book, Crackerjack Funnies from 1937, the Platinum Age. We don't talk about the Platinum Age of comics very often. Yeah. Beautiful condition on that, a 7.5 for only $500. Yeah. That's awesome. And then some G.I. Joes, a mint on card Range Viper from 1990, and this is the UK card. And this is when G.I. Joe started to actually make the weapons that actually shot. They were spring-loaded rockets, and the UK version of this figure is tough to find and on card, obviously. I always loved that figure though because he had like the brain matter exposed on the top of his head, right? And then a carded CoverGirl, right? CoverGirl only came in a vehicle in the U.S. stuff, but for the Brazilian ones, they actually carded her, and one sold for almost $300, which is crazy. Wow. Yeah. Next, we have some rare Japanese Star Wars stuff. I've never seen this. Hood, you ever seen that one? The rocket firing R2? That's crazy. A rocket.
That's right.
Yeah.
What
I've never heard. Yeah, 1978.
78. That's crazy.
That's wild.
No.
Yep. Still in
what's he firing?
He shoots some type of missile.
Rockets.
Yeah.
Can you blow up that pit and see if it's like a lightsaber or something like that?
Look where they position the hole, man. He's not firing anything that you don't.
Right. It's probably pretty dangerous.
What's that?
It's probably pretty dangerous, right? They wouldn't allow kids to play with that the Boba Fett because of it. So this might have got.
This is a true story. Okay, so I had the Battlestar Galactica Colonial Viper, where the rocket fired out. Guess what I did when I first got it? Loaded the rocket and fired it. And I remember watching the news that some kid died. I was like, holy shit, I guess I won't do that again. You know?
Oh my God.
True. It's true.
A rare tri-logo Luke.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, mint on card, AFA 85. Sold for $5,000, $52.27.
Wow. Unreal.
Yeah. And then oldie but goodie on Beyond Wednesdays. I always love talking about these McFarlane superposable Spider-Man figures that people don't realize how expensive they are. They sell for up to that much loose. And a lot of the people that are buying them are artists because they can pose them in all these different ways. And they use that as their,
model.
There you go. Thank you. Cannabis. And next, we have two great G.I. Joe figures from India. Yeah.
Street Hawk, baby.
Fucking A, man. The original Street Hawk is in the middle from 96, and it's a repaint of Snake Eyes, version 1 Snake Eyes. Came with a motorcycle. They redid this figure across all forms of the toys later on, many years later, famous that Snake Eyes had a motorcycle in the Valor vs. Venom line, I think. And then they did another version 4 years later where they chose a Strata Viper and repainted the Strata Viper and put him on the motorcycle.
Is that Target?
Yep. Target, that's what it is, not Strata Viper. Target, you're right, the Target figure, yep.
That's so fun.
Isn't that cool? That. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this always blows me away. The Sumo Ninja Turtle figures sell for a shit ton.
$700. Use me as a model for a figure? That's crazy.
Why are those so expensive? That's
towards the end of the line. They didn't produce a lot of them, obviously, because the line was dying out. So there's not many of them out there, which is obvious.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Gosh, I remember seeing those at the store.
Oh, bro, so great.
Yeah, those end run Turtles figures are insane.
Rare.
That's cool.
Yeah. This is cool. Look at this, you guys. This is I'm not exactly sure exactly what it is. This is rare Gene Colan World War II illustrated letter. Now I'm thinking that it might be a letter he wrote home that he illustrated when he was in the war. And if that's the case,
that's wild. That's so cool.
Cool, yeah.
It's awesome.
He's one of my favorites. I love Gene Colan.
I mean, and you guys are gonna trip when you see how much this sold for. $300.
Yeah.
What?
One bid, that was the opening ask. No
Yep.
one wanted it.
Yep.
That
And
should be
then-
in a museum for sure.
Amen. Amen. I would be mad at my family member for selling that. You know what I mean?
Agreed.
Larry that real quick. That's one of my things my mom always tells me. Once a
let's
year,
see
my
if-
mom
let's
says,
see if the seller's related to him. Let's call him up.
my mom once a year will tell me, when I die, you take all the photos and you don't let anybody else have them. You know, you make sure that they don't end up in a flea market somewhere after everybody's gone. And that's a real deal. Larry Hama, Snake Eyes and Storm Shadow sketches sold for more than that letter. Yeah.
Those are recent sketches too. Those are from 2023.
Yep.
So they're like,
yep. And then look at this: Journey into Mystery 112, signed on the inside where it should be, signed by Stan Lee. Enough said at the top, and then Jack Kirby at the bottom.
That's awesome.
That's
right?
amazing.
$1,155 for this one.
You don't know how many books I've pressed where I call up the guys and I was like, you know, Kirby signed this, right? Oh, no shit. You know, it's like, you go, open your book, bro.
Yep.
I found Dave Stevens autos on the interior. So, yeah. Later, Vinny. Appreciate you, brother.
Yep.
Later, Vinny.
We got two more and then we're done, you guys. We've got Captain America 1941. This is the fan club set. We talked about this. One of these sold recently, but it didn't have the envelope. And it's the Sentinels of Liberty badge kit and card. And look at this badge. Look how beautiful that looks.
Oh, that's badass.
Yeah.
That's cool.
19...
How big is it? It's hard to tell. It looks like it's pretty small.
It looks like it's pretty tiny, right?
And
That's what she said.
I was waiting
you been
for
talking
that.
about wife again, dude? Come on.
It's how you pin your badge.
She's fixing you complaining. She's like, Jesus.
Look look how good a condition they're in too. You know?
Yeah, no, that's great.
So $4,000 for that.
Wow.
Yeah. And then next, one of the rarest comic books that's ever been produced, a Black Air variant of Lethal Protector #1. Yeah.
Is it newsstand or direct?
It's a direct.
Direct. Look
at that.
Such a cool book.
It is. It is so cool. And I love those rare airs. Airs will always be cool. $3,000, $3,100 for this one.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That book still holds up. You look at that book, man, that takes you back to that time, and it's just wow.
Yep. Classic.
I mean,
man.
certain books do that for me, man. I like looking at a G.I. Joe 1 or like this book, and it's
Spider-Man
just like,
1.
bam, I'm transported back to that time. It's nuts.
Yep. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been 3 hours almost on the dot. I want to thank you for everybody that's hung out with us in the live. Thank you so much, you guys. You make this a lot of fun, and we really enjoy it. And again, thank you to all these guys that are up here with me that came here and took their time to sit here and laugh about people farting on mute. So you got to love it. That being said, we're going to call it a night. Make sure you guys drop some comments below if you're catching this on the replay. Give a subscribe, give a thumbs up. Come hang out with me Friday. We're going to do a sale on Whatnot before the Hot 10, where you'll be able to find some of these.
Oh, okay.
So, adios, you guys. Stick around, you guys, after we end. We'll be right back.
Sounds good, brother.
Yeah, I got a
Adios.
story